템바가 약간 두 팀으로 갈려지면서 각자 다른 위치로 갔고 거기서 다 맞아 죽었어요.
아,
네.
OPGG가 이런 거 잘하거든요.
네.
자, 낚아먹는 플레이.
한번
바로
혼자.
네, OPGG가 한국 선발전에서 제일 잘했던 플레이입니다.
그렇죠.
네.
입 벌리고 있으면 알아서 오는 그런 플레이를 이번에도 보여줬습니다. 한이라도 기절.
GX와 그리핀의 이 전투는 사실 대세에는 큰 시장은 없어요.
와, 피오!
피오.
밍밍 확킬.
네.
네, 확킬 낼 수 있는 다른 팀들이 지금 젠지밖에 없기 때문에 신나게 쏠 수 있죠.
젠지는 지금 도로 기준으로 남쪽에 있는 적들은 싹 다 우리가 정리해버린다라는 생각을 가지고 플레이를 해야 됩니다.
하나 더 와요. 하나 더 와요.
들어갔어요.
하나 더 와!
마무리 지었고요.
좋아요.
좋습니다.
자,
와,
야, 피오 지금
자!
신났어요.
젠지 오랜만에 또 힘을 내는데요.
피오 혼자
어,
5킬입니다.
개인 5킬. 여기도
근데
약간
엔토스가
차박이네요.
지금, 예. 그러니까
자,
저는
이쪽에
이쪽
맞았어요.
라인까지 예, 이쪽 예.
오, 루벤에게 맞았습니다.
야, 진짜
킬까지.
날카로운 거 보세요. 와.
엄폐물이 없는 그 구간을 제대로 때렸어요.
예.
이게 맞으면서 가야 되는 엔투스 입장이다 보니까 상당히 부담스럽습니다. 계속 날아와요, 정말.
네.
자, 어떻게든 그래도.
아, 이거 템바가 아!
여기 저
린슌 그로자로.
와, 린슌.
아, 템바 진짜. 아, 이거는 저는
하늘도 자기 거라고.
원래 사실 가포이가 에이스가 아니라 다른 선수들이
포텐셜 에이스, 포텐셜 에이스.
선수가 원래 에이스 역할을
네.
홀보 선수와 더불어서
어.
왼팔 오른팔이 잘해줬었는데
자, 이거 이노닉스 쪽으로.
또 먹었나요?
아, 진짜 린슈.
와, 진짜 중국팀 방안의 입장에서는 지독하게 플레이를 하네요. 아,
진짜 독하네요.
이게 동선이 멀어서
차량이 아니라 이제 오토바이 쪽으로 접근을 하고 있고요. 자, 대바도 위험해요. 오! 격추당했습니다.
가포이.
아니 이게 거리가
와, 어이가 없네요.
아니, 학교 아파트 안 가는데.
야.
신중하네요, 두 팀. 이런 신경점 때문에 어떻게 보면
오!
여기서
그래요.
좋아요. 에어. 알고 있습니다, 선보.
누가 보여서 한번
한 대 맞았죠.
이거
템바가 이렇게 가장
밸런스가 잘 되어 좋다 보니까
그렇죠.
예, 그 OPGG가 할 수 있는 게 별로 없어요.
맞습니다.
남긴 했지만 전력을 유지하고 있습니다.
서브 게이밍 킬 많이
어?
가져왔는데요.
멀티서클 게이밍.
네,
예,
되게
이기고가 2대 기절시켰어요.
프리스.
뒤쪽도 봐야죠. 뒤쪽도
네.
봐요.
자, 인디고 기절.
제 자기장까지는 봐야 될 것 같아요.
피우가 누웠어요. K렉이 당했습니다.
예, 이거 굉장히 때 블라인드 상태거든요.
이야, 인디고.
자기장 지금 계속 다가오고 있는데요.
캠 위험해요.
자, 타이밍을 보는 것 같습니다.
아,
K 기절입니다.
를 상대에게 내주고.
보고 있는데 아까 전에 오토바이 타고 나온 각이 있었는데 아까 전에 김동준이 해설께서 말씀하신 욕심은 안 부려서 한번 버텼는데 저 패트릭 코노드의 에이스 에디가 그 떨고 시간도 안 좋아. 자차를 좀 많이 들었는데 이거 롱디디
자, 백업 사운드.
백업 하는 거 보죠. 오늘 진짜 패트릭 너무 좋아요.
경기력이
1등이라도 합시다.
네.
자,
패트릭 코노드 자, 낚아먹고
예.
그래서 댄스가 왜
와,
그리고 선광탄 뒤돌고 자 살릴 때 성공
자, 오피
지나갈 때 지나갈 때
버텨봐야죠,
지나갈 때
버텨봐야죠.
지나갈 때 좋아요
이렇게 마무리
요
그렇죠.
이거
그렇죠.
어차피
자, 그러면 오피지.
서클 우리 거 아닌가? 좋아요 어차피 데려갔어요 오피지 스포츠
보이고요.
한 발에 진짜 꾸역꾸역 살아남아서는 뭐라도 하고 있습니다.
이거 찰프가 한번 피했어요.
와, 포레버.
근데 여기서
그리고 이제 보는 모습이요.
네. 민준. 와.
아니 템버 아니 뭐 이렇게 예.
까지
날카로운 거 보죠.
연패물이 없는 그
이거 템바가 민슌 그로자로
와, 민슈.
템바 진짜
2대1입니다. 2대1.
네 덤보와
템바 e스포츠.
Hi, this is Annie of Weekly PCS. Did you enjoy watching the events in last week's PCS3? Now that we only have 1 week left, here are last week's highlights to get you caught up for the final week of PCS3. In Asia, PUBG Esports finished week 2 and first on the leaderboard. Their play reminded me of their performance at Charity Showdown earlier this year. PUBG was fighting back and forth with OG and Entus from Korea for the top spot. At the end of day 4, PUBG was Asia's first place team in the second week of PCS3. OG and Entus is still showing stable performance. However, if they lean into their explosive performance more, they definitely could be a team with a good chance of winning. Asia is highly contested and showing the fiercest competition among the 4 regions. The top 8 teams all scored over 100 points. Genji, the champion of PGC 2019, is still in 9th place, but fans saw a shining moment in Day 4 Match 1 when they scored a perfect chicken dinner, a throwback to the good old days. Erangel Ghibli and 4AM are still bumping into each other sometimes, but both remain in the top 5, showing potential to win this event. Competition is more intense than ever in Asia. Which team will be crowned the PCS3 Asia champion? Let's see what happened in North America in week 2. Guadalajara Gaskins showed remarkable performance, earning 106 points in the second week. They quickly moved up to second place. In the last match of day 4, Gaskins got 18 kill points and the chicken dinner, widening the gap with Oath, who sits in 3rd place. This team might sound new, but Nikus and Honey Badger have each played in the OC and NA regions, while Bostic is a veteran player who has participated in PGI 2018. Sonics, of course, is flaunting their consistency. They almost matched the same amount of points as their week 1 performance, proving them to be a steady team. The trust from PUBG Esports fans shows since Sonics currently has the most votes so far among all 4 regions in Pick'em Challenge. There's only a 25-point difference between Sonics and Guadalajara Gaskins, which is very close for the last week of PCS3. Can Guadalajara Gaskins stop Sonics from winning 2 consecutive championships? Also, can Shutakill and Oath show us their last burst of energy? Make sure to check out the final week. In APAC, Vietnam's top dog LG Divine held their lead for the second week. However, they weren't as explosive as they were in the first week. LG Divine won 5 chicken dinners in week 1, but were eliminated in the early stages a lot during the second week. Buriram United Esports and Fury are chasing right behind Divine. I think I saw this happen in PCS too. Buriram United Esports is a team that has always been in top 3 throughout PCS events. In the second week, they've been overperforming and have the momentum of winning 2 consecutive chicken dinners for the last 2 matches. Will they finally seek a chance to take the throne? Fury lost the first place in PCS2 APAC due to an official tie ruling. They're not the team who always shows explosive performance in matches, but rather play smart, stacking up points to maintain high ranks. If they can win more matches though, they will be more likely to win the championship. Let's not forget Division X Gaming, who clutched many great plays with long case support, and Sharper Esports, mostly consisting of former Golden Cat members, who are both following closely. Let's see which team will win the championship in APAC. How was the second week in Europe? Europe, as expected, is a very intense region. Digital Athletics, Tornado Energy, and Northern Lights are still in the top 3 teams in week 2, even though their rankings have shifted slightly. Team Liquid has put in the effort to rise the ranks and compete for the lead in second week. Digital Athletics is showing amazing performance so far. It's a team that breezed through the open qualifier and they have a great potential. They enjoy sending themselves on tricky situations, but they also stack up points steadily and have finally topped the list. Tornado Energy, who finished first in Week 1, was briefly knocked to 4th place during Day 4, but rebounded after a 16-kill chicken dinner victory in Match 3. Northern Lights have been showing really stable performance for the entire 2 weeks. Even though they slipped a bit on Day 4, the gap between first place is only 10 points, not a lot. Who will be the winner of the last PCS of 2020 in Europe? We won't know until the last day is here. PCS3 has only 1 week left, and this is how the Pick'em Challenge looks so far. Are they teams that you've picked? The last week of PCS3 starts on November 19th. Check out which teams will become champions in 4 regions. I'll be back with the next weekly PCS. Bye!
PUBG Esports แล้วคนซีระเบิดลูกนี้สวยๆลงเข้าหน้าพี่เบนแน่
เต็มครับบึ้มเต็มเท้า
It's a conscious effort to do so.
Yeah, it definitely is. They went for the push. They're obviously a little split up. Positioning is so awkward. Nice grenades coming out from Premium Please and talk
在
about.
基地防区的是不是够仔细的？因为防区里面有 Sun Sister 的一名成员躲在这个位置，
这感觉情
芭蕾感觉是知
报
道哎，
有抓到，这情报有抓到。
反弹雷位置蛮像的哦，直接就把 MHI 炸掉了，倒地出局。
It was about to start coming in, and it was a second hard shift in a row towards the west side, away from this position. McCory.
Next Griffin fight, we'll see good forever. God, he's so good. We know it. We've known it for years. Forever is nuts. This grenade, if it counts, is going to be good enough. Oh! The grenades are fun.
Business always, and that's why they came top of the table. Like 5-14.
우리 이제 시나리오가 아직은 열려 있습니다.
자, 이거 들이받았죠?
와, 인디고!
인디고 대치까지! 인디고!
Now that smoke will last for a while, but it's not impenetrable, and it won't hold back those flames. Already getting a touch of damage. You can see Vard and Iroh in all kinds of trouble.
Huh?
Iroh just makes it into cover. He finds Clib, and Clib finds him first. Already Vard going down. That's going to be a white TSM.
어, 那里面一了一个，2个。我这边，车位置，好了。哎呦，哎呀！我觉得可以下来，队长来，打头了，走，左边，走，右边。这反斜了，跑到这反斜了。倒了。牛逼！右边有吗？在左边有，看到了。注意一定要尝试的兄弟们。对点倒了。先抽着，我要回去，我根本。
帮我注意一点的。OK， 没烟了，3打1。
sound. Where are they? Outside? Downstairs? After you guys. Go away. Go away. I don't know. Chris? Nice. We should have.
Welcome everyone, it's time for the final week of PCS3. We're kicking it off with Asia. This is the last week of PCS for 2020. It all comes down to this. 4 days across 4 regions. And Asia is the first one up as usual. Paperthin and G-Clef here, and we are going to be bringing you the last 2 days of PCS3 Asia as we have a tight match at the top. The top 3 teams very close to each other. You've got Tianba, OG Enentis, MCG. Who's going to come out? Is another team going to rise from below them? Right now, they're looking really strong, G-Clef. I'm not too sure.
And within the top 3, I have some updated news that I do want to say to you guys, and I'm going to unfold that just in a second. But right below them until the 9th place, between about 105 to 90, 95, I believe. So not too much of a difference, but there's a big pack. And one good day, I guess you can get up to like over 30, 40 is a possible number. Even we've seen some teams bringing up to 50 points in one day. So nothing's out of ordinary. So all those teams in the middles can still have that opportunity to get that championship spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty wide open, I think, here in Asia. I don't think there's like even really 1 or 2 teams that are just running away with it. It is going to come down to a lot of different things that are going on. So the top 3, I think you're kind of teasing at something here. Obviously, not only the points are kind of the story here, but they've been playing very, very well.
Oh, yes. Yeah, those 3 teams. It's surprising that because Tianba, OG Enentis, and MCG, they all have different play styles, but they're all the way up in top 3. That's pretty amazing. It's just showing that overall, their shots are just so good.
Yeah.
PUBG, it's easy and hard at the same time. If you're landing all those shots, you win. Doesn't matter what kind of strategy you do have. From outer circle in the circle, if you're landing every single shot, every single headshot, that's basically it. It's all about the FPS.
I mean, yeah, and it's been a crazy good event for a lot of these players, and we'll get into that later. First, let's take a look at the overview here, guys. We're in the final week. Today is Thursday, November 19th. Asia, NA coming up Thursday and Friday. Then on the weekends, of course, APAC in Europe. To wrap things up, you can see the participating teams on your right. Teams from Korea, China, Japan, and Chinese Taipei. And, of course, as is the story for all of 2020, for all of PCS3 Asia, or PCS Asia, it's been China and Korea.
Yeah, China and Korea, and especially on the odd numbers, the beginning day, like day 1, day 3, and today's day 5. A lot of Korean teams got the chicken dinner. And in the even numbers, day 2, day 4, and maybe in day 6, Chinese teams were getting most of those chicken dinners. So let's see if those patterns actually continue, because so far, it seems like a little slightly higher for China right now.
Yeah, and you can look at this right here on your screen. The map information this week, we're going back to Miramar and then Erangel. So wrapping it up on the classic map, of course, as we like to do here in Asia. And I think it's going to be really interesting. I mean, Tianba's been nuts on Miramar with all 3 of their wins coming on that map. And Erangel has been Entus's home, so it's going to be really interesting to see which of those 2 can kind of maybe find their extra points on the opposite map. Now, our prize pool, of course, $200,000 USD plus 12.5% of in-game sales. And so that's distributed, plus 12.5% of all sales are distributed equally amongst all the teams. So get out there, support your team, support the esports scene, and get our players some extra cash.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah,
if we can go back in the days and become pros, no, we still stand no chance.
Yeah, no, I know. There's no hope. So for the Pick'em Challenges, these are the current standings, and it's not too surprising to see 4M up there. But now Tianba, as the doors have closed on the Pick'em Challenge,
just a few hours ago.
Yep, you can no longer get your votes in. Now it is time to just buckle up and see if your team won. And not too surprised to see Tianba up there. 4M has such a huge fan base over in China, and then Entus, I think, is a good pick. That was my pick for this event, and I still think there's a pretty good chance that Entus can get this done.
Yep, my pick, MCG. They're still up there. Remember, 4 AM was on top for the longest time, and then all the teams, after knowing all the scores and Tianba just staying on top for such a long time, 41%. That's a pretty dominant number.
It's not a bad pick. I mean, they've already won one PCS event this year. They won the Charity Showdown. It wouldn't be too surprising to see them win again. They have been playing very, very strong throughout this event, particularly on Miramar, of course. They just seem to win those first Miramar games, regardless of where the circle goes. It's not like they've been getting the same circle every time. They're just finding new and interesting ways to get it done. And there's our overall point leaderboard there. 145 for Tianba, and then trailing by 9 points is Entus.
Yeah, not bad. And just 2 off MCG. Right below them by 29, we are Luke Ghibli. So 135. 1357, that's China. 246, Korea. So right on top, about the same, but slightly higher for China in average. And from 4th to 9th, all the way to Genji onto 95, I think they still have a pretty good shot. Below them, Freaks and Infantry, they have some power. And Africa Freaks, they did get 2 chicken dinner, but they're lacking in that kill points. So I think that's the real reason why they're still down at the right side. And the teams below, I think they have to come up real clutch today and tomorrow in order to get into top 3, or else I don't think it's happening.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at an Infantry, if you're looking at a GEX, a K7, they gotta just go crazy. It has to be just 2 days of lights out PUBG. And what I find real interesting when I look at this leaderboard is from 4th to 9th. It's 8 points.
8 points.
8 points!
Yeah.
That's so crazy close.
Yeah, Genji can get 10 points and become 4th immediately.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, it's actually crazy. All right, so these are your top 5 damage dealers, and Indigo's been cracked out of his darn mind. Like, just, he's the only player averaging 400 points a game, over 400 damage points a game. Tanky's not too far behind, very, very close. Of course, he's been a real pleasure to watch for MCG, but not too surprising to see these 2 up there with Ming Ming, this superstar, this emerging superstar from New Happy, showing up as well.
Yeah, surprisingly, the entire squad of Entus, and especially Indigo, having the highest accuracy along with the damage, that actually brings a lot of numbers, because compared to Tianba, compared to MCG, they're running into a lot of fights, so their accuracy goes a little bit lower, but Entus keeping it together, their accuracy stays. That's an amazing sign that this team can do a lot better in the remaining 2 days.
Yeah, Entus just seems to be very smart about the engagements they choose to go for. They're very good about their rotations as well, putting themselves into good positions where they don't necessarily have to fight as much to get good placements. So that's part of their strategy. And the kill leaders here, Linshu for Tianba, he's been very, very good. I mean, not only is he the play caller for Tianba, but he's, you know, getting it done on the front line. And then, of course, you have the dynamic duo, the guys who kind of maybe look like they're brothers a little bit. Linshu and PO, these are your PEP Plus stats from them for last week.
From just week number 2, so day 3 and 4 combined, and PO certainly, overall Genji did play certainly so much better compared to week 1. Week 1, they looked like one of the weaker teams in the entire lobby here, which was very surprising. Week 2, they came back somewhat, but not in their full form. Week 3, Genji is going to try some different rotations. They have prepared their plan B, and I've watched about 9 hours of stream, mostly focusing on Genji 2, and they're trying some crazy stuff that they have never done. So expect to see those in the games today.
Okay, I'm really excited for this. Of course, the Peps Plus stats are relative stats, so it's just these focusing on these players involved in this tournament. This isn't compared to anything else, just what's happening in this tournament. So 100 means you're the best player at that stat in this tournament, and then from there you go down. So the tactics for Linshu is really important to me, I think, for the Tiamba's success, because that means when they're getting good circles, they're doing good with it. When they're not getting good circles, they're also doing good with it. So the tactics, I think, is really interesting here, because that stat, that Peps Plus stat, focuses on where the circle is, you know, compared to where you are when it pops, and your ability to do well off of that.
Yeah, and surprisingly, they're also the edge team. So they have the power and the potential. The reason why they have 100 on tactics, because they have the pushing power. They can make it work because their shots are landing. We've seen that amazing game with the 3-man squad from Miramar. That still amazes me as that they shouldn't have been able to do that anywhere on the map with that many teams around them. And that's the exact reason why they're number 1 right now.
Yep, everything is just going well for Tiamba, no doubt about it. They are looking to very much try to take over this, and it's going to be Miramar first, which has been their map, so they might be able to just kind of put their stamp on this final week to start. We'll see, as they've won the first Miramar that we've played on 3 out of the 4 days, which is actually crazy to think about. But that's the only place they've gotten all their wins, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can find a way to get some more points on Erangel.
Yeah, I think, TSG got 4 chickens. I think that's the most amount of chickens that we had in a tournament. Tiamba, I think it's just possible for them to get maybe more within the last 2 days. This team, I was looking at a lot of stats through the week, and this team, there's no a specific player, maybe a little bit for Linshu, but there's no standout. This team is overall just all good at shooting, at rotating, at movements. Everything is just above par for that team.
That's been pretty typical for Tiamba throughout this year when we've seen them do well. It's a team effort for them for sure. Same thing with, I think, Entis. It's not just Under leading the way with the damage and the kill numbers. Now you've got Indigo there. Sungjong's putting up good kill numbers, not necessarily great damage numbers, but really good kill numbers. And Kale is there as a fantastic support player and a good frontliner at times. We've seen him make really good pushes for Entis.
Yeah, when they are lacking Indigo from backup shot, of course the turret position, usually Under and Kale, they just dive. They just go for that pinpoint position and then take the spot away from the other team. And this team has been so consistent, but not on day 4. Day 4, they did lack in their score compared to all the other days. So coming into day 5, I'm wondering if they are in that same form like day 4 or back in the shape of before day 1 and 2. From the scrims, they were sort of up and down, very surprisingly. So I don't know what exactly to expect from OG and Entis today.
Yeah, they're very consistent. Typically, I found that they make good adjustments. Especially when they're given longer breaks, they seem to make very good adjustments. So I think this is a team I definitely have my eye on to have a big day today.
Oh, yes.
Not just because it's the odd number day, so therefore Korea feels like they're going to have a good day. But in general, when OG and Entis, like, it seems like I think this might finally be their time. We'll find out. MCG, man, they are so good, and it just goes to show what having, you know, a good veteran play caller like Summer on your team can do.
With 1 chicken dinner. Number 3, because of the kill points, and they actually have below average accuracy on their shots, which means they're running into so many fights and winning with those fights with a full squad, which is not possible from any other squad but MCG right now in this tournament. The reason why they're taking 91 total kill points. If they can get a few more chicken dinners with some better finishes, because they run into so many teams, they do lose a couple of men. So that's the reason why they can't get the chicken dinner. But if they can adjust on that, this team might just become the champion of PCS Asia 3.
Yeah, we've seen them fight on the edges a lot, and I think that very well could propel them forward. If they can find just 1 or 2 more wins, 2 more wins might be enough, honestly. Usually you're talking 3 or 4 wins is good enough to get you a championship here at PCS Asia. The most any team has had is 4, and that's TSG. They were tied with Infantry in PCS2 for the most chicken dinners. But otherwise, 3 or 4 is usually going to be good enough to get it done. And these guys, I definitely have no doubt there's a capability here.
And they're so good. But even if they win with 1 chicken dinner, that's going to be another story to tell later on. Like 1 chicken dinner, you win the championship entire tournament, you're just going insane out the wild on Erangel and Miramar.
Yeah, it means they're going to wild out in kills this week. They are just going to absolutely just be putting up like 10 kills a game. Now, this team right here has left the apartments. They have ceded that territory to 4 AM. So now things are going very well for them on Miramar as per usual. Things are going okay on Erangel with them dropping Razak instead now. Can this team find a way somehow? They're sitting in 4th at 103. It's a big hill to climb.
I think their Miramar is totally fine because they're diving in a lot of time with the motorcycles, quick rotations. It's been working really well, but sometimes they spread out a little too far. Understanding the circle might pop on them, but sometimes they totally lose it. And then it just... And even with the vehicles, they can't really budge in because there are too many other teams on the other side. That has been the Miramar, but compared to that Erangel, after losing school and apartment from Rozak, from the water lane, I think they're losing a lot of their rotational time, waiting for 4 AM to move out, and then they're always the second place team to move out from that central circle. So I think in terms of rotation, which they should be on point a little bit faster, like Miramar, but Erangel is just not happening. The reason why they're only having 29 points, 30 points.
Yeah, and I think it can be problematic. Like, one of the negatives to having these wide spreads, if the circle does leave you, it takes longer to regroup and make your rotation. So for them, a team that we saw on a circle on Miramar last week, where they had like literally 1/4 of the circle to themselves, and then it hard shifted away from them, and they weren't in it, and it just, by the time they were regrouped and ready to get into the next circle, it was too late. Everything's already taken, and then you got to fight for a spot. This team gifted a bit of a win. If you want when I went back and watched the VOD, there were 2 teams that should have beat them on that Miramar game, and I think when I watched their reactions after the game, I think they knew it too. But still, they're playing well. They're playing consistent.
And even before that, I think they had some more games that they should have got chicken dinner from, especially a few more Erangel games. Remember one from week 1 and also from day number 3, as they could have pushed out some more Entus or MCG, but I think they are still being a little too passive. When things are given to them, when they think they have it, then they would go for it. But sometimes you have to open the door and make that happen for yourself with your own play. That's exactly what OPGG is missing. If they are able to do that today and tomorrow, might be able to get into like top 2, top 3 very soon.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. This team has a lot of potential. They've been getting slightly better as time goes on. Now maybe this might be their time to rise. We'll see. Eyes definitely squarely on this OPGG team, trying to replicate the success that this team, very different members, found at the Facebook Global Summit in 2019. And this team right here blew the doors off of everybody last week. What in the world happened here? They all of a sudden just exploded with, if you go back-to-back days, 3 wins in a row.
So I read a pretty good comment from the Chinese fans, with of course with the translation. Pero has been running into way too many Chinese squads that they gained so many fans because their style is explosive. They don't care who they go up against. They just go. Especially XDD, he doesn't care. And last week he wasn't even shooting at his teammate for a few seconds because he got too excited. But without XDD, the rotations absolutely fail. Yeah. But if he stays alive, then the squad actually brings... They had 3 chicken dinners last week.
Yes.
So still a very strong squad from China.
It was crazy. It was just impressive to see them just all of a sudden just show up, and they gotta do more boom than bust coming up if they want to win this event, but they're still very much in this, and I'm excited to watch them. They've been better on Erangel, but one of their wins was on Miramar as well, I believe. I think they have 1 Miramar, 2 Erangel wins, if I'm not mistaken. And the Miramar win was gifted to them a bit, but regardless, they still defended their territory well. And, they're still a very scary team. Some, like I've mentioned earlier, some remnants of the L-Stars team that has performed very well at the PCS events earlier in this year before that team disbanded. So I think for these guys, not surprising at all to see them do well.
Oh, I wonder. Last 2 days, Paper Thin. I know. We only have 8 matches left. I wonder who's going to take it. Still, my gut says MCG. And I know you're a big OGN at this guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's just say I'm a little nervous for OGN because if history is anything to go by, they're going to finish in the top 4 or 5 somewhere.
Yeah, very. Yes.
But I don't want them. I want them to get first because they've been so good for so long.
Yes,
they're just too consistent. And
the most consistent, I think, in this tournament in terms of how many times they were in top 6, top 5. And the reason why I am not picking is Tiamba. Tiamba heard the news that they also watched in a lot of the scrims that Genji is up for a challenge. We might actually have South George.
Oh, really?
Fight again. That's match 3, though. So we have to watch the Miramar games first. But Tiamba is going to run into some trouble. Yeah, that's
Stay tuned.
that's a good challenge.
I'm excited about that.
Uh-huh.
I really think that for both of these teams, I don't want to see them fight in South George, but for Gen G now, there's less to lose, and for the future, you know, for next year or whatever that may bring, then you need to be able to kind of assert yourself as that South George team, because if there's that, it is tough when you come to these big international events, and this is where I do give like teams like 4AM and VLG as well some leeway in their kind of hard-headedness to keep fighting over these locations that you are trying to kind of bully other teams just psychologically out from even trying to contest you.
Yeah, so from the scrim, Gen G just literally ran into South George and took Tiamba down with 2 members alive. So that happened during scrim. It wasn't a tournament, of course. That just happened yesterday. But Gen G showed there a lot of their rotation. They were willing to fight Tiamba, not run away like last week or week 1. I think they just had to think, okay, we're taking too much time away. They're taking too much time away from us by forcing us out, by forcing our bigger rotation. We just have to fight them, challenge them right now or never. It's the final 2 days. I think it's about time.
When we saw consistently that even if Gen G didn't fight them for South George, we're like, all right, we'll go north. Tiamba would try to fight them for it. We'll find out. But first, it's Miramar, guys. We have the first game of the day here at Day 5 of PCS3 Asia. Plane is up, and it is not a great one to start out with. Way west, really gross plane path here. So again, we'll be keeping our eyes out for some of those fever drops where teams land next to each other and they fight over vehicles or some compound they don't really mean to be fighting over. It just happens with bad plane paths like this. We'll see if it comes through. Sun Sister is going to have El Pozo all to themselves, it looks like, so nobody's going to be contesting them. That's a team that I'm always a little kind of, I have my eyes on, as somebody might try to mess with them because they're towards the bottom of the leaderboard. Somebody might just say, well, with a bad plane path like this, let's go.
Yeah, they were having a lot of struggle. They showed in the interview that not much of what they have been preparing is working out in this tournament because there are so many good players and teams out there. But last week, we show a lot of aggressive moments, especially from Sun Sisters and also K7 and GEX, not to take them out. And so I think they're going to play a lot more aggressive. It's the final week. They have nothing else to lose. The bottom teams right now in the standings, I think they have to go for a challenge.
Yeah, definitely. I think you need to take your best shot. Just go for it, have confidence, and go with what works best for you and try to play to your strengths. And I'm seeing some not too much craziness, honestly. Maybe there might be Linshu and Silky crossing paths down there, and the circle just popped north.
Not bad, as Pero actually went to the center fields and Cobreria all the way on top. As this may go towards a little bit more towards GEX. I feel like it's about time where we have a circle popping towards that Nuevo. And Gen G should be quite happy, even with some vehicles picked up right in the middle.
Yeah, for Gen G, that's pretty typical to see Aqua 5 or sometimes it's an Onyx that drops out there on those further compounds for a little bit of extra vehicles and loot. And also information. They do it for information as well to see what's going on more towards the western side. But they have a northern rotation here for Gen G, and that's kind of interesting. For Pero, they are pretty well left alone up by La Cobra, and it's not a bad spot to come from. Coming into the south, there you do have a ton of high ground to see what's going on.
Yeah, well, also in terms of looting, it's pretty easy. Lots of storage from the crater area, and the city itself is pretty good enough for a squad. What's interesting to me right now is that Entis, because they usually go all the way towards north of Impala, but because the plane path was so far away, they're actually all the way at the bottom with barely any route. And I think that can force them into a little slightly later west road rotation all the way up.
That's my assumption. That's what I would do if I was them. And I expect them, based on what I've seen previously in PUBG Korea, that they might send a scout out around El Pozo to the hills around there and see what's going on, and then kind of make their way in based on what they see. For MCG, it has been them at the power facility because they bumped Sun Sister out of there. Well, Sun Sister gets Pozo. There's like this whole cascade of dominoes that fall when one team like Quadro isn't in this lobby. So all of a sudden, the power facility's open, and then everybody else can kind of go where they want to go.
And of course, you would be wondering, what are they doing at training grounds? just getting those bullets out of the way, just feeling your shots right now, as they had no one else to actually contest. But I think they want that to be heard from the other teams because they already have a pretty good spot in the circle, like near center right now.
Yeah, it doesn't give out too much information. This is Detonation Gaming White right by.
Ooh, early rotation.
Yeah, really early out of Los Leones from Detonation Gaming White, much earlier than we're used to seeing out of them. So this is a little change up from them. They usually are taking their time, coming in late to circles, usually waiting for kind of phase 2 to decide what exactly they want to do. But this time around, they're making their way right up north.
Oh yes, because when they made that later rotation near the edge by phase 1, by the end of phase 1, even to phase 2, they were beat by a lot of other teams. A lot of other teams in a favorable position already, forcing them out from the circle, leaving them not much of a chance to come in. So I love this type of play. Certainly a big change in Miramar.
You can see Genji having similar thoughts on the similar timings coming out of
Race
Picado.
is on.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is still MCG up here in the
Pretty
power
good
play.
shot from the Observer. I love the view here.
Yeah, the Observer's doing a good job showing us what exactly the teams are working with in front of them. Now, it does get a little flat the closer you get to the power grid, and that makes things a little wonky. So there's not a ton of terrain. There's enough early on. But, you know, if circles ever come here, it gets really wild because it's so flat, especially to, like, the eastern part of the power grid.
And MCG, they had 2 members here, but with Detonation Gaming White bumping in, they are forced out. And Genji let this happen even in previous week, making sure that on other teams getting some information. If they're fighting, then they can also come up to the hill and take the spot away when they're a few knocks away. And Genji's going to just chill on that eastern side. Here to Ghibli, all the way out in the higher ground, actually getting a taste of this.
Yep, this is pretty typical for Ghibli. They love these mountains just to the southeast or south of San Martin. And you can see there Hikari was trying to see if he could pop a tire on some of those MCG vehicles, make it a little more difficult for them to rotate as things go along. Genji found the double gods over here and all the compounds along that particular edge of the mountainside, and they're going to hang out there for now. Leo comes down on top of infantry there, gets some decent damage, doesn't get a knock with that SKS.
Yeah, GEX in a not a bad, but still we do see sometimes GEX spreading out a little too far where they cannot really cover each other, especially on Miramar. So I think they have to be careful when there are so many teams already right next to them.
This is interesting. Detonation Gaming White loves to fight, and they will have no problem sending it. And if they think they, you know, especially with getting a knock on the Evil Lee here, they will full on send it. And I'm a little surprised to see MCG back out. I mean, they're not in the best of position to support their fallen teammate, but a lot of times you'll see Chinese teams, if they have a member knocked early on, it's just instantly turn on a dime, everything, try to help your teammate.
Well, I thought MCG actually combined forces. Didn't they just leave from
They must have just left.
I
thought so too.
They wanted to leave and just bumped into the lower part of the building there, and then wanted to stay until DGW actually ran in. That's a big loss early game.
Exactly. Huge. I mean, for one of our top 3 teams, you don't want to lose a player this early on in the first game of the day, but still plenty of games to play, still plenty of time to recover. Now, you do have Crazy Sam, who has found his way a little bit close to Pero territory, I'd say, as they moved all the way across the Pozo Road here. And now it's MCG that's also in Sun Sister's face. So Sun Sister, if they're not careful, if this fight really breaks out, they might just get ripped apart between 2 different teams.
Yeah, GEX is right next to them as Pero staying top, as that was shots fired for that open fire now, XCD. Yeah, almost getting Crazy Sam there. Oh yes, they're right in the middle. You are 100% correct, Paper Thin, as they did not know. They knew MCG, but did not know much about GEX or Pero right on top.
Yeah, the information, you know, Crazy Sam tried to, that's why he's going up that mountain, is he's trying to get up there to make sure that that is a clear ridge, that they're able to play this position for now, and maybe he might even set up there as an anchor or something like that, depending on the ideas. They're a little late, and I think Pero probably made a little bit earlier rotation than Sun Sister is expecting, and now they might lose another member out in the open. XDD does get the knock on a Faye. Polly was going for the pickup, but it is not going to be in time.
Kill steal is incoming. That seems like an okay spot, but they actually might lose both.
He got there. I'm so wrong. He just barely got there. Is he going to get this res, though, is the real question. I mean, I think CC, it looks like CC should have a good enough angle. He does. It's going to be Longsker who's actually going to help the Sun Sisters out. Does some damage, and my oh my, they got Faye back up. I thought that was not going to happen.
Yeah, it might not be able to get out. It depends on the timing and the focus fire. Okay, Pero started shooting onto MCG, so I think that's good, just good enough time for them to actually escape. As that's not a good spot to stay in.
Sun Sisters trying so desperately to get out of here. Everybody's shooting at them. And I tell you what, if they come out of this with 3 alive and they get something in the next circle, that's going to be a win. Because this is not an easy situation they face with a couple other teams already up there by the power grid area.
And where Sun Sisters just pulled off right now to get that heal off, it's out of the second circle already. And it's going to be a very tough road for them to actually rotate, because that western area is packed and not much of a road that I can think of right now.
All right, infantry is heading just north of.
Right into
it's going to be right underneath Gen G, and there's going to be an instant knock from 9 onto Pio. Pio, you got to know those car sounds are out there. He's standing right out in the open. He's going to get flushed for that. I got to question that, because he's got to hear those cars. He's got to know that somebody potentially has sightline.
Yeah, look, it's coming right now. Gen G, they had one of the best position right now in the circle on the high ground. Infantry just coming, somewhat getting lucky with that rotation and the catch. They've heard the window sound, and Loki, 1 HP.
Oh, he does get the molly off. It does land onto Loki, so that's going to force the heals out from Loki. That might buy enough time for 9 to get heals of his own. Aqua 5 comes up, gets Zhao Ying knocked. So right now, they're trying to finish this one off, get the flush. It does come through for Aqua 5. A good grenade from Aqua 5 finds Lin. The support player for Gen G stepping up right now is now 9 and Longsker try to come in and see if they can turn this fight around.
Yeah, they got to look at the opponent and also Tiamba from the other side at the same time. So they have one angle covered, but Gen G certainly winning that duel even after losing PO early on.
So they know an Onyx is over here. They don't know exactly where he is. And Onyx with a smart little play here, staying underneath this truck for now. And he heard that grenade from Longsker. So Longsker, he knows full well that Longsker's in this particular shack. And Onyx keeping himself hit a bit, but that grenade bounced short. And Onyx has to come over, isn't in time. 9 comes from behind, is going to find him.
That's 2 for 2. And down with just 2 members from both. As this, I think, just goes down to a duel. As Longsker coming right next to Aqua 5.
Woof. 9 again, dude. He's just finding these great flanks on the Gen G. That's 2 in a row that he's gotten Gen G players from the side.
Crisp play. His senses are actually amazing. Knowing exactly when to peek out from what angle. Trying to keep his teammate alive. Longsker is trying to give him some more information.
Yeah, and it's going to be 9 winning that duel with Aqua 5 there, and Aqua 5 is going to have to throw some smokes and try to heal up. He's got to be careful in case there are any throwables coming.
Good bait.
Oh my god, is he going to go out and try to finish this? He knows. Oh, he pre-fires around the corner, but 9 isn't quite there in line, and someone else. Tianba. I was like, there's no way that's anybody on infantry. Who was it? It's going to be Lin Shu from Tianba, and that's going to be Gen G out early here.
What? From a pretty good position, dead center of the circle. So infantry went into a fight again against Gen G. This time infantry wins the duel.
You can't be stepping out like that. If you're PO, you got to be aware of the cars pulling up, and you gotta play safe, because you're in a dead man's land in between those buildings. And if you get caught out there, you're done. There's just nothing else.
Yeah, I think if PO was alive, they win the duel because he was already there, and infantry was pulling up to them with later rotations, slightly slower compared to Aqua 5 and Loki. As another big drop in Miramar already. First team to go out in match number 1 today. As we have the next circle. That's a pretty good spot if Gen G stayed alive. Tiamba, 2-2 split. That's beautiful right there.
Yeah, it's really, really nice for them. It's going to force 4 AM over to the graveyard here as well. OPGG having similar thoughts, so we might have 2 teams bumping heads inside of the graveyard. Afrika's going to stay on the edge and try to barricade K7 in while all this is going on. But yeah, Tianba controls a lot of ground. I'm a little worried about Tianba if somebody tries to crash one of those 2 compounds, and you can see OPGG kind of gets bullied around the graveyard because of 4 AM's early rotation.
I don't think OPGG has a full understanding that there's 2-2 split from Tiamba. Checking in from the right in the middle. Yeah, shots coming in from the right, so I think they will rotate exactly towards the other 2 member, or just staying here in the deep. I don't think they will stay here too long. Just buying some time for the next phase.
if OPGG can figure this out in their heads that they've got Tianba split, they might try to go for something. Because I know they're not afraid to push compounds if they think they have the advantage. I've seen them do it before, and they're very, very good at it. And then once they gain a central circle compound, they're one of the best in the business at holding it down. So I do definitely kind of have my eyes on the map on OPGG at a lot just to see if they make their movements. Now, Savior, excuse me, I almost said Summer. Savior here for K7 has found the front side of Afrika and is trying to relay the information to his team how they want to approach that.
This is exactly where I wanted to walk. Picado, Destiny Gaming White, GEX, and even Entis sort of peeked in here, and then they decided to rotate towards the sort of a mini crate right at the east side.
Oh yeah! Oh my god! He almost got a 3-fer there. C's barely saves the day for Detonation Gaming White. And Machao gets Yan Li as well on the side. And Machao gonna quickly pick that one up. Now CC's right around the corner. Machao sees him. Machao's gonna cook this grenade. CC's like, saw the grenade in his hand. It's like, no way, bro. I ain't gonna try to stick around for that.
Yeah, making that big rotation now, knowing that nades can come anytime. Still, the fight is on from the other side, but Lupa goes down. Machao takes CC down.
Machao is nuts. This guy is arguably the best player in Japan. Him and Crazy Sam, definitely number 1 and 2 for sure. Just shooting poor CC in the butt there. And now over to Tianba as OPGG has found their moment to try to strike down onto Tianba. They've got one out. So now it's just M200 left all alone.
Lynch actually came out. He tried to bite on OPGG, knowing after the split, because they hurt all the vehicle, they sort of have a pretty good idea when they have the split right in the middle. But Linshu did get quite aggressive. That's the type of play that he did make a lot of times, even in the previous week on Miramar. But not today. Tianba's going to lose big with that member.
Yeah, I think that one's a bit much there for Tianba. A little bit more than they can fit in their mouths coming forward. Now, especially with this happening, especially with the circle coming basically right down on top of them, they had the opportunity to have 4 up in a center circle location.
Yeah, now, bit of a favor for OPGG as F200 is going to respond against 4 AM and Afrika. Still not too bad, as they still do have the pretty good compound with quite open angle from those compounds.
We are going to see Lycanon taken down here for New Happy as we make their way towards Peril. Oh, there's a Groza here. Oh no, XDD has a Groza, but no, it's going to be XKK. Zhao K going to get the knock there, but Mamu's going to follow that up with a knock of his own. Now it's just Mamu alive for Peril, and it's going to be Lou coming over, finishing XDD. Peril looking very, very beat up right now. Giao as well going to go down. New Happy gone. Mamu stands alone, but at what cost?
But a big cost is 4 AM's the one that's actually smiling after the fight. Yeah, because this the next phase is actually forcing a lot of teams up the hill. With not many compounds. It's going to force a lot of these teams. Roa gets one from the side. Where's the driver?
Well, it's actually K7. Who needs a driver when you got support fire from the side? Booyah, who gets the knock onto Faye there as well. So Sun Sister tries to kind of send one in and put 2 back for support, but K7's here as well, so there's too many teams available for them to deal with. And right now, Afrika and K7 are in a bit of a standoff because of Sun Sister's position.
Yeah, Forever from the side actually finishing off Sun Sister.
Well, that helps.
They're picking up a lot of kill points just by staying near the graveyard when they barely made a rotation in this game.
Grenade coming out, and it's going to be EJ with that AK getting some good damage onto Booyah, who's going to follow it up with another one. It's going to be too hard from Griffin. That's actually getting the knock here, and the finish as well. So third party after third party on these compounds to the south of the graveyard.
Yeah, from the northern side, 4 AM, from south, Griffin, and they're just stuck right in the middle. Even K7 should be thinking about escaping the compounds already. After taking care of Afrika Freaks, that's exactly the same for Freaks. As K7 is trying to win that duel. They do have some time. They're still in the circle.
Yeah, absolutely. There's plenty of time to make that battle happen, and Zennon does get a knock. Now back over to 4 AM. We should be keeping our eyes on these guys as they are looking to light up the kill.
8 kills already.
It's huge. That's massive. It's actually insane. Oh, and K7's going to go down to Afrika while all of this is happening. So that is going to be K7 out in 12th place in Afrika, looking to see if they can find some way to climb back into that top 10, maybe even get top 8, top half. Find out if that's available. 4 AM in the meantime wants to assert themselves as maybe one of these top 3 teams, already looking strong. Forever pouring some shots down into that member of Ghibli who's got the Ghillie. but it's Lambu up front.
Yeah, got the ghillie and there's smoke, so you can't really have the best line of sight there. Got some damage in, not much. But still, with those shots, 4 AM, they're still pushing their line into the hill. I think that's the important part, as a lot of teams are still clashing right near Tiamba.
All right, grenade up front into Lambu. He definitely dodges that just a bit, takes some damage, and then he's going to prone back down, get his heals off, wait for the reinforcements. You do have Spear going for a flanking position up to the west of 4 AM. Looking to see if he can keep Godvi pinned down from the top of this church here, and that is going to be a knock from 9. It's going to be 9 from forever away. That's a good 500 meters. Or so, and he's gonna get that knock. That is crazy shooting.
9 is popping off today with those shots, taking Genji down first and then getting those long shots at SLR. Certainly one of the guns I'm having questions why it's not being nerfed for such a long time when everything else is being changed. I didn't say anything.
Bro,
okay.
Can't hear you over the SLR. Get out of here.
I said it, guys.
It's so good, of course. I mean, it is an amazing gun,
Buff
and
SKS.
we love it. Okay, well, let's not get crazy now. So it is, now 4 AM does have a bit of an awkward situation where they do have to push up into the next circle, and Ghibli's trying to set up some kind of situation where they can maybe trap them a bit. There's still Mamu from Pero, and then Tianba as well.
It's incredibly hard for VLG to even keep the ground because 4 AM will be pushing. They already know with Lambo's position. That's the exact reason they sent Lambo to keep 4 AM sort of out of the circle. And they know that Tiamba's right on top. Maybe not exactly where Mamu is. So
maybe
that's going to be the very hard ground to actually keep control.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Maybe 4 AM, I don't know what their vehicle situation's like. They might have to think about trying a different maneuver. I just don't know if they have any vehicles available left in here. We'll find out as time goes on. Now, Lambu repositioning. He's kind of aware of the movements of 4 AM and trying to just mirror them and keep them boxed in.
Yeah, VLG is trying to force 4 AM into the eastern side so they face Afrika Freaks. So they can only think about infantry, who's actually moving up right now into an open spot. And 9 makes a pretty easy rotation in. That's not bad with the cover of long square from the side.
Yeah, my worry here for VLG is that once a fight pops off, if they get involved, then Tianba's gonna reach out and try to squeeze down on top of them. We'll see if that happens. 4 AM now is making their way into the Freak, so the push here by VLG is successful in that you're getting 4 AM into the more of the position you would rather have them in. In the meantime, 9 continues to dumpster people with the SLR. He is actually on fire this first round.
At least 350 out.
Dude, this guy ate his Wheaties, man. He is ready to rock and roll.
And GEX is running towards Entis saying, oh, that's a kill that I want. I'm the only one left. Entis, that was a pretty good timing because they were making that rotation. Okay, KO did find the last remaining member, Leo. Down he goes, but that knock from 9 right there from infantry actually forced a very much later rotation for Entis.
Yeah, and now Entis is kind of readjusting their sights. They're looking more towards infantry than they are towards MCG. Originally, their idea, I think, was to wrap around the south and try to get underneath MCG, but now they're a little worried about what the heck is going on up here with infantry and how close they are and how much they need to worry about this with a bit of a 2-2 split back over towards the east. And again, still Tianba inside of this, OPGG as well with 3 up each.
This has to be done for 4 AM. They have to make the push towards the eastern side and then go up that hill to get that control for that chicken dinner. They know they have to go up against the Afrika Freaks, but with only few men, Crazy's got to look on their backs, so not a full squad power for 4 AM.
All right,
so there's a chance for Afrika Freaks.
We've seen it before. The throwables have been really good for forever in this tournament. Dangche is going to be the first knock from that particular grenade. Now there are other ones rolling in, trying to get the finish. Dangche very hurt. You're gonna have his teammate EJ coming over there, seeing if he can go for the res. Oh my gosh, that vehicle, a little bit lucky there for Afrika. It doesn't land on top of them, and they still have enough cover from this rock, I think, to go for this.
4,000 IQ if Ghibli wins the fight from our... And 4 AM's breaking apart because they had to. They were forced with this 2-2 split against Afrika Freaks and VLG. Forced by VLG from 3-4 minutes ago with that big setup with the vehicles. And with just 2 remaining members, they can barely make it in now. With Freaks actually winning that duel was big.
Yeah, this is VLG being sheepdogs, hurting 4AM into the positions they want them to be in. Under gets a good grenade onto Summer. Now the push is on for Entis. Tanky, so scary up close. He's going to come up over the hill. His attention gets turned. He gets some damage into Sungjong. He's going to get the headshot and the knock. Now over to another member of Entis. Indigo turns on him. He's going to find Tanky and finish him. Entis now just has to finish off Lingdu and the job will be done. It's going to be Entis starting strong here towards the end of the first game of the day.
Still with a full squad against MCG. That was pretty quick too, so no other team can actually challenge them, as there is no other team making that rotation from that southern side of the next circle. Now even the fights are going on near Tiamba, but of course better ground, better control by Tiamba. They were here, they were getting all those information.
You got to give 9 a ton of credit. Great round from him here to pick up some kills and some points for infantry along the way. He had some sick shots in there as well. Still only 8 kills for Forever. Another good grenade finds EJ. Now he's looking to cook another. This guy is a throwables master. Still 4 mollies in there as well. That grenade bounces a bit too far to get any damage onto Afrika, but he's going to get the finish onto EJ. Roa's going to step up though. Close the door. 4AM is done.
And meanwhile, Kale actually steals that kill point onto Xiaolu all the way onto the other side of the circle. Amazing play. Entis got really high ground control, and also OPGG. They have some chances. Griffin there, they have a pretty good position with Asura and Too Hard, but they're a 2-man team. So I don't think they can handle the pressure of OPGG and Afrika Freaks.
Look at Mamu here. He is just waiting to
still
ruin the round. No, the wrong time. Lambu sees him, steps up and shoots him as he's thinking about going for a stun, and it's going to be Under from Forever away. Under gets the long-range finish onto Mamu. Mamu just a little bit picked the wrong time there to try to go for that stun.
Oh, still amazed that he was still alive right next to Tiamba when there were that many teams, that many fights going on. Even infantry almost got a kill on him. Yep, now Kale, the entire squad of Entis as the next circle does shift towards Entis 100%.
I mean, how crazy is this match going to be if it's Entis versus Tiamba to finish? AO stepping up right next to it. It's going to be Dengche. He's going to get one. Now Entis is getting involved in this fight from afar. Indigo gets one as well. Dengche comes over, gets Dumbo. It's just Silky left for OPGG, all on his lonesome inside of this shack. And Afrika pretty much makes a successful push into the largest force, the main force of OPGG.
As Griffin wanted to get some taste and get some kill points away, as it's going to be actually Entis pushing out Griffin. Griffin were looking to pick up a few more kill points before they went out, but not against Entis when you're only a few hundred meters out.
Yeah, look at what Entis can see. Literally everything in this circle. This is the Lion King position for them. They can see everything. VLG's getting 2 over onto Tiamba. Only M200 left. They are storming into this compound, looking to finish the job. They know he's in here. Spear sees him. Spear's going to come in and get knocked. Can Lambu finish the job? No! Sungjong is going to get him. And now M200 is the only one alive, but Entis finishes the job. This is looking good for OGN, looking to retake their spot atop the leaderboard.
With 11 kills already, taking down 1-1 OPGG, Afrika Freaks. That should be an easy job for them, as Silky right in the middle. Dengche still out in the blue, trying to heal up and looking for that second place finish. Entis has everything packed and ready to go.
In force is OGN, just storming through MCG, taking the high ground, and then wiping clean the rest of this slate as they look to just finish Silky off. The throwables are in. Silky doesn't have much to work with inside of the shack. The grenade from Indigo gonna land right on top of him. I think Dengjae's just gonna eat the blue here and just cede the round to Entis. He's trying to heal it out, but there's not much left for him to play for. The shots ring out. Entis comes back and takes the first game with a 12-kill chicken dinner.
What a match for them. Entis coming up clutch. That's a lot of kill points. Plus, Tiamba did stay for a pretty long time, so I think we have to look into the total points. But what a dominant starting from OG and Entis. Might be able to boost them up into first place.
And yeah, I think that should be just enough to catch up and surpass Tianba for the team from Korea. The favorites, the winners of PCS3 Korea coming through, seeing what they can do. 4 kills for Kale, 4 kills for Indigo, 3 for Under, and 1 for Sungjong. The team effort once again strong for OGN.
The moment when 9 got a knock onto one of their member was the toughest moment. I think MCG should have tried to push onto Ventus because that wasn't too far away. I think MCG was a little bit more focused on keeping their ground together, getting some information as they did. They also moved out towards the south part of the next phase, but gave that time for Ventus, which actually ended up becoming 4-0 when that 4v4 just happened against Ventus. Was the biggest moment, I would say, in the Miramar game.
Yeah, it's hard for MCG when you're in a position where you have the circle advantage and you know the other team has to come through you to like make the call to step up, especially in a big game, a big stage like this. And also, you do have to a little bit worry about other teams, maybe third-partying that fight. So of course it's hard, but yeah, I think they had an opportunity there if they chose to go for it. You know, Pero here doing a good job against New Happy with some help from their friends. And then Sun Sister tries to send it into the madness that was Afrika and K7, and just nothing for them to work with there.
Yeah, it was not the toughest circle, not too far away from the center, but in terms of using vehicle and the rotation, it was very hard. This was a fight that we missed at the beginning.
That grenade from under is so key, so crucial. All the space opens up once that grenade lands on top of Summer. All that high ground is gone. That flanking position gone for MCG. They're left with just 2 on the side of a ridge to work with.
And that was a smart dive by the Freaker Freaks, knowing that OPGG still had somewhat of a split, that you can just outman and get that split win with the help of the other team too.
I mean, this was so well done by Entis, of course. The Freaks having a really nice round for themselves. Of course, with that second place finish, they hold off a couple different pushes onto them from K7, Sun Sisters, 4AM. They fend those off well. 9 kills puts 4AM, despite a middle exit, I'd say a medium exit, but that 8 kills turned into 9 and 10 points.
Yep, Ghibli with 3 men. They forced the rotation, even using vehicle off to the side, nor the edge. Gave no room for 4AM to actually rotate. You say, okay, there's no chance you push against us because we got infantry on our back too. And look at that updated leaderboard. OG and Entis on top. Yamba right behind it with 3 points off. And a 20-point gap now between second and third.
Yeah, these top 2 teams are playing so well, and Multi-Circle Gaming did their best, but this time it was Entis that was just too strong. Entis gets their 3rd chicken dinner of the event. You can see their top 3 teams with 90+ kills, and that's why they are where they are. You can see that's basically the point difference between MCG and Ghibli.
Yeah, what a big lead that we have.
All right, let's take a break, guys. We will be back with PCS3 Asia. Stay tuned for game number 2.
Hi, this is Annie of Weekly PCS. Did you enjoy watching the events in last week's PCS3? Now that we only have 1 week left, here are last week's highlights to get you caught up for the final week of PCS3. In Asia, PUBG Esports finished week 2 and first on the leaderboard. Their play reminded me of their performance at Charity Showdown earlier this year. PUBG was fighting back and forth with OG and Entus from Korea for the top spot. At the end of day 4, PUBG was Asia's first place team in the second week of PCS3. OG and Entus is still showing stable performance. However, if they lean into their explosive performance more, they definitely could be a team with a good chance of winning. Asia is highly contested and showing the fiercest competition among the 4 regions. The top 8 teams all scored over 100 points. Genji, the champion of PGC 2019, is still in 9th place, but fans saw a shining moment in Day 4 Match 1 when they scored a perfect chicken dinner, a throwback to the good old days. Erangel Ghibli and 4AM are still bumping into each other sometimes, but both remain in the top 5, showing potential to win this event. Competition is more intense than ever in Asia. Which team will be crowned the PCS3 Asia champion? Let's see what happened in North America in week 2. Guadalajara Gaskins showed remarkable performance, earning 106 points in the second week. They quickly moved up to second place. In the last match of day 4, Gaskins got 18 kill points and the chicken dinner, widening the gap with Oath, who sits in 3rd place. This team might sound new, but Nikus and Honey Badger have each played in the OC and NA regions, while Bostic is a veteran player who has participated in PGI 2018. Sonics, of course, is flaunting their consistency. They almost matched the same amount of points as their Week 1 performance, proving them to be a steady team. The trust from PUBG Esports fans shows since Sonics currently has the most votes so far among all 4 regions in Pick'em Challenge. There's only a 25-point difference between Sonics and Guadalajara Gaskins, which is very close for the last week of PCS3. Can Guadalajara Gaskins stop Sonics from winning 2 consecutive championships? Also, can Shoot2Kill and Oath show us their last burst of energy? Make sure to check out the final week. In APAC, Vietnam's top dog LG Divine held their lead for the second week. However, they weren't as explosive as they were in the first week. LG Divine won 5 chicken dinners in week 1, but were eliminated in the early stages a lot during the second week. Miramar United Esports and Fury are chasing right behind Divine. I think I saw this happen in PCS2. Miramar United Esports is a team that has always been in top 3 throughout PCS events. In the second week, they've been overperforming and have the momentum of winning 2 consecutive chicken dinners for the last 2 matches. Will they finally seek a chance to take the throne? Fury lost the first place in PCS2 APAC due to an official tie ruling. They're not the team who always shows explosive performance in matches, but rather play smart, stacking up points to maintain high ranks. If they can win more matches though, they will be more likely to win the championship. Let's not forget Division X Gaming, who clutched many great plays with long case support, and Sharper Esports, mostly consisting of former Golden Cat members, who are both following closely. Let's see which team will win the championship in APAC. How was the second week in Europe? Europe, as expected, is a very intense region. Digital Athletics, Tornado Energy, and Northern Lights are still in the top 3 teams in week 2, even though their rankings have shifted slightly. Team Liquid has put in the effort to rise the ranks and compete for the lead in second week. Digital Athletics is showing amazing performance so far. It's a team that breezed through the open qualifier and they have a great potential. They enjoy sending themselves on tricky situations, but they also stack up points steadily and have finally topped the list. Tornado Energy, who finished first in week 1, was briefly knocked to 4th place during day 4, but rebounded after a 16-kill chicken dinner victory in match 3. Northern Lights have been showing really stable performance for the entire 2 weeks. Even though they slipped a bit on day 4, the gap between first place is only 10 points, not a lot. Who will be the winner of the last PCS of 2020 in Europe? We won't know until the last day is here. PCS3 has only 1 week left, and this is how the Pick'em Challenge looks so far. Are they teams that you've picked? The last week of PCS3 starts on November 19th. Check out which teams will become champions in 4 regions. I'll be back with the next weekly PCS. Bye!
둘 나왔어 둘 왼쪽 언더 왼쪽
네 왼쪽 확인
똥가
야
우측 더 갈게 야 천천히 우측 더 갈게
발 앞에
개피 필 발 앞에 골 필.
아 라스트
여기서
바로 터치하면 살릴 수 있다 이거.
연막 아니야 연막
바로 살려야 돼 이거
아 바로 터치해봐.
끝
나이스 일본 야 이거 한 팀 더 있어 일본에
우측 끝 조심하자 우측 끝
일본에 있다고
본인 쪽 쓸 수 있대. 본인 쪽 쓸 수 있대.
내려놓을게
한자 좀 째줘.
연막 버리고 가 연막
아니야 천천히 하면 돼 판자 쪽이랑 1번이랑 다른
한대 판자 싸운다 야 티안이랑 기블리 싸운다 판자
게임 봤어?
아차씨
티안 기블리 싸운다 판자
기블리 하나 기자
기블리 끝.
티안 최대한 죽여 야 이거 인원수 아프리카
야,
야 빠데미
야 이거 밖에 라스트 경박
밖에 한번 뛰죠 나이스
Welcome back, everybody, to the PUBG Continental Series 3 Asia. The first game of the day has completed, and we move on to our final game of Miramar for the day. I'm making up a new map here. It's half Erangel, half Miramar. So there are your top 5 damage leaders. That 9 is not the damage he did. That is his name for infantry. They're 858.
Yeah, half of that damage comes out from Genji, and of course, and stealing a few other kills from the side of the road. Infantry went into, thought that it was going to be hard to rotate unless they take the spot. Went into a pretty good fight. A lot of damage put in. Certainly, XTD, we saw Pero, what they were able to do was about to win some duel, but with some help from the other side, I think they could not really deliver against Tiamba.
Yeah, it just seems like match after match after match, we're seeing Indigo in these top 5 damage dealers. I mean, I went through and looked through it. He's up there almost every day for every match. This guy is just crazy good right now. Again, the top damage dealer, and he's going to actually add to his average damage numbers with that almost over 500 damage round. He was averaging 400 damage per round coming into the day, and now he's going to go up. I mean, this guy is performing on another level right now.
Yeah, among the, I think from the stats, among the top 10 damage dealing players with the highest accuracy. That's the reason why he's been having such a good race. And accuracy, of course, includes all the shots that you take against vehicles. So it's actually pretty low. In average, even for pros, around like 10.5 to 11%. But Indigo was up near 13%.
Wow.
So that's pretty high. Overall for MCG, they were below average, well, near 9% because they run into so many fights and lots of leading shots against the vehicles. But you could tell Indigo is just popping off every single time. Even under in the previous game, KO, Sungjang, the entire squad, it's like they have 3 eyes each. They all have 3 eyes. They can look into 360. They are always stealing kills.
Yeah. They're crazy. They're crazy good right now. Yeah, they're stealing kills. Their mechanical abilities are really good. We saw Indigo turn on a tanky just on a dime there. I mean, in general, these guys have been just getting better and better and better as time has gone on, and you're seeing why here with their first win of the day. Now, again, still 7 more games to go. They're not that far ahead of Tiamba. But now Tiamba, the lead has extended quite a bit from MCG to Tiamba.
Yep, and I think losing that big duel against Entus for MCG, I don't think they picked up close to 0 kills in that game. Not too many of a point in that entire game so far because they were supposed to push from the side after taking care of Entus. I think if they didn't lose too many and Entus going down for 0-4, then MCG pretty much had that chicken dinner. But Entus clutching it against one of the strongest team right now in terms of squad fights. That would actually boost them up in their confidence even more for Entus.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're absolutely right. And we're going to have to see if that plays out that way, but if it does, oh God, look out, world. I think...
and in fact, they actually had a pretty, I'm talking about Entus, of course, pretty hard rotation all the way from south was hidden until phase 3. And then all of a sudden, they start coming in.
Yeah, all right, guys, we are ready for game number 2, our last Miramar of the day. Buckle up. Let's go. Here we go with Miramar once again, match 18 out of 24 here at PCS3 Asia. Today and tomorrow, guys, thanks again for tuning in. We love having you. We hope you're enjoying these games as much as we are. That last one was quite good, like non-stop fighting from like
Miramar.
phase 2. I know I do too. From phase 2 on, it was just such a interesting game.
I love Paramount too, but but surprisingly, finally, did not get to talk about Griffin as much. Finally, they're using Minsung. That has been the member for Griffin. That has been bring #1 from a lot of the scrim. It has been the member of Asura, Two Heart, Panita, Minsung, the squad that should be, and Tutap as a sub.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Minsung was never in the actual matches, but here he is.
Yeah,
finally.
I'm with you, 100%. I think it makes a lot of sense to have Minsung in there. I mean, we know if you've been watching any of the Korea leagues, which I hope you do, please do, as they are exciting.
And continue to do.
Yeah, exactly. There is there is a lot of potential in Minsung. We've seen it a lot, and I'm curious to see how this Griffin squad does going forward. They're bottom team right now, and I don't think they're gonna want to finish that way.
No, not at all. And did you drink another coffee?
I'm like,
not that bad.
yeah, it's not that bad. I'm like halfway through number 2, so not. I think all of my energy got sucked into Europe on Sunday because those were some just maniacal circles. They were actually just that game 3 on EU on Sunday when it finished down by Primorsk was actually amazing. Like one of my favorite circles I've ever seen. Top 5.
That's favorite thing with caffeine, brothers. Right there.
I was asleep during that one.
Really? Even without caffeine?
I mean, I had gone to bed early. I couldn't make it. I watched APAC and then fell asleep. And then I watched the VODs, and then I was very happy as Avenger, the analyst for EU, mentioned. Because he knew I'd be happy about that.
Yep, of course. As Tiamba, still number 2 on the board. Of course, Paraiso when they have the flight control. And Infantry is right there, right on top, as they always choose to go near Impala. Wish we get to see Genji, because this is the type of play that I mentioned. Even before going into Erangel, they just pick up one gun and immediately they shoot into the middle part of the circle, which they have not tried for a very long time, knowing their history all the way back. But after getting just a gun or 2, they immediately find a vehicle and then move out towards the middle. That's Loki right now already with an Onyx, drawing the dot into a line.
Yeah, I think for Genji, I think in circles like these, especially if they end up to the southwest of Los Leones, a problem for them has been getting into those circles. They have to make bad rotations around like phase 5 or something, where they have to just send it into a spot in the circle where they don't want to be, and then they end up losing the round with basically no kills because of it. And here you can see this push from Entis, the winning moments. I would say that's basically the winning moment for them against MCG. And then poor VLG tried, but...
Yeah, and Entis at this moment, I was hearing their voice comm in the middle of the break, and they said, "Oh, Tiamba, VLG, they're fighting, let's go kill them." That was literally what they said, and they got the kills. Easy push on the other side. That's real good chicken dinner for Entis.
Huge start for them. I mean, that's got to give them so much confidence, like we've talked about coming into this. Now, I think it's going to be really interesting for Infantry, as they have a huge split outside of Impala going forward. What they're going to do, Puerto Paraiso, is Tiamba territory, but nobody's even remotely close to them. I mean, nobody's even within like a kilometer of them right now. So they've got some room to maneuver and some room to breathe. For Entis, I would say of our top teams right now, they've got the hardest situation in front of them. They're heading, I would assume, towards La Bendita, and then we'll see where they go from there.
Yep, I think they, with Songjang all the way in the front, near Impala, near Infantry. The reason why Infantry is so spread apart is to stop a big rotation from Entis or any other team, because understanding how many teams can come from the eastern side, or Entis can just chill out towards the edge right now and then move out when Infantry moves out. Likely Infantry will move out first, which is exactly the pattern and the rotation that Entis has tried when they're playing these edge.
Yep, exactly. So, and Infantry needs points as well. I mean, they're another team that I guess mathematically they're not out of it, I'd say. It would take they need to win like 4 games in the next 7. But it's not impossible. We've seen it with Divine. We've seen teams do this throughout PUBG Esports, so I'm not counting it out. I'd say in Asia it's harder to do than maybe any other region, than maybe EU. But winning 4 games in 7 is very, very difficult. Now, MCG is still very much in this hunt, as they have left the power grid and find themselves coming towards a unoccupied Chumasera.
Yes, MCG can push a little more towards the south, but it takes a lot of driving skills. You need to get that extra license if you want to go towards that mountain. So I think they will try, since they know that Genji has already moved out. They heard the vehicles towards Los Leones, that big road. This road in front should be packed with at least Genji plus another team from Leones. So MCG and GEX, they should be going towards the south.
It's interesting to watch. There's actually, this one's a little bit slower on rotations than I'm used to seeing in this tournament. A lot of teams are kind of taking their time this go around. The hard shift, but a southern shift has kind of slowed things up. But Entis might be in a bit of trouble if 9 reveals himself and tries to go for some shots. Now Indigo drives along, going to try to use the side of the road a bit for cover. It's going to be Lin that's right there where he was veering into him. No, no, no. Indigo.
Oh, no.
In the crossfire. Sungjan gets knocked as well. And this is disaster to start the round for Entus.
Exactly what we have mentioned. Infantry set up a total trap against Entus, understanding that they want to move in. And I was expecting Entus to make a later rotation because of this. This was a big potential. And they also did not hear Infantry moving out from Impala.
Kale side sweeps, but not going to do it there. 9 is so good right now. He is dialed in. He's going to knock Kale, and it is Under all alone out in a field, taking some damage now, retreating, trying to find safety.
Oh, no.
And I don't know if he can. Infantry's just going to chase
They're
him
on the
down.
chase.
Yeah, they want to take him down.
Wow!
I mean, why not? The points are here. And I'm telling you, Infantry's still in this.
I think after getting a chicken dinner, they got a little too confident about the rotation.
I want to know, when I look at what they had in front of them, I feel like La Bendita is the more logical answer to start.
Bendita was also okay, and you can also go around Impala towards the beach side. It's a little harder to drive, but still, it's not that bad of a drive, actually. As Entus just thought, they thought about the easy way in, and didn't really think about the first steps.
Well, now it's going to be up to Under to just snake points any way, anyhow he can. I wouldn't be surprised to see him make a move to go, like now you're saying, around towards that eastern road, towards Puerto, maybe get into Los Leones and just pray that the circle becomes a city circle or something, or that, you know, he can get out of there. This is what you see good solo players do if they lose their team early on. They go into a city and just try to wait it out, hope that nobody comes into their house. They're able to just, you know, just be left alone. Nobody tries to come in, and then they can get their points later on.
Similar in style like Infantry has done against Entus. 4 AM again. Pretty good setup around Graveyard, just like the previous match, trying to catch K7's rotation. Crazy is just going to let that pass. And then set up a pretty good trap around, but Buyo.
He's up. This is outside of the circle. So I mean, it's only circle 1, so it's not the end of the world. But both of these players are, you know, this is kind of one where I wonder if Crazy knows that Buyo who is above him.
I think he does. As Buyo should have a vehicle nearby, because he does have to make a rotation along with his team. Yeah, that was the reason why Crazy was not shooting at that rotation, or else I think he should have just opened fire.
Yeah, you're usually counting the cars, waiting for that fourth one, and it turns out the fourth one was on a different angle than I think Crazy was expecting. If you look at the map, Buyo looks like he's going to kind of come out of there unscathed. Now the real question is Savior heading towards Forever there. Will that result in any kind of destruction? There is some damage done to Savior, and for now, he gets out.
For now, and Forever might actually be trapped if K7 wants to stop, but I think K7 just wants to back out, understanding that it's going to be 4 AM 100%. And that fight cannot last long because this next circle is actually all the way south. Even 4 AM, they have to make a long rotation towards Impala or into Paraíso, as that eastern side should be open, maybe contained by Tiamba.
Yeah, there's Tiamba right there. They are making their way further south. They're going to try to work south to north, potentially, depending on where this circle goes. But that's likely where it's going to end up is more towards the center. That's just statistics. Africa's leaving Los Leones. Infantry is ahead of them. And Infantry and Tiamba, once again, having similar ideas about how to approach this situation.
As Infantry made a pretty quick rotation all the way from the eastern side. And also Longskar was all the way on the back, and he knows that there's another squad that is Africa Freaks on the map chasing them right behind. So they have to set up it's a 1-3 split, maybe even think about a 2-2. And force out Tiamba first.
Yeah, they're kind of just waiting for now with Longskar on the back, trying to see what exactly they want to do going forward. They might just wait this out. Oh no, Forever. Wow, XDD just missing with that last bullet, not able to get the knock. Now he's going to try again, reload and go. It's somewhere Crazy and Blue are fighting Mill, and they get a knock at a quick finish. This is to the, I believe, the northeast of where all this is going on,
I
indeed.
think Forever just pinned where the opponents were, and then drew them out of the houses, and then Crazy and Xiaolu He's getting the shots all the way from the back, and that was pretty clean. Actually on a different angle.
Yeah, they're just kind of fighting and moving is 4AM, and it's working for them so far, as they are forced onto the edge because of this circle. So they are going to be coming towards the top part of Los Leones. Meanwhile, Under, getting a view of him as he makes his long, late rotation way south. He's going way south, so he's not opting for the city snake strat. He's opting for the edge snake strat.
I would understand if he has like maximum kit and meds with like 60 bullets only. I think that's like the best play that he can pull off right now. Yeah, just snaking through all the way in if he gets a chance. Finally makes it into the circle.
Yep, there's actually quite a bit of room for him to maneuver if you look at the map, so he's got some time. Pero, meanwhile, is struggling as PO does get a knock and a finish there for Gen G. And really today and tomorrow, we're going to be keeping our eyes on our top teams here for our observing. So just keep that in mind, folks at home. We're going to be much more focused today specifically on our top 6 teams.
Exactly.
More than anything else. We're trying to make sure that we have this top of the leaderboard covered so you can see the action for the teams that are in competition for first place.
And that's exactly why we're seeing a lot of these rotations. 4AM, yeah, Los Leones, you can always get trapped. And if you go in, it's harder to move out with the vehicle. So that's the reason why we see 4AM moving all the way from the eastern side of the city, as the city is huge and the circle totally moves away from them.
Yeah, there's no VSG here. They're a team that loves to set up Los Leones traps. They are not in this tournament, so...
By the way, farewell, VSG.
Farewell. So long. Adieu. Thank you for all the wonderful games.
Still, infantry's making it into the circle. Freaka Freaks, they have to be quick or else 4AM's going to catch them.
Well, I'm a little worried here for some of these teams that are coming in from the north as this one went south. We'll see how this one comes out. Zhao K and New Happy rolling up along the side of MCG. You can see Gen G's making their rotation as well to try to get more center. Gen G might bump into Griffin. We'll find out if anything happens with that. In the meantime, Summer, eyes on the prize, which is right now New Happy.
Yeah, Griffin's Fortress is actually a really good spot, but you can't really get easy lead shot into where Gen G is rotating. Finally, they're getting some action with OPGG. As Gen G might struggle a lot more, even running into Tian, but they're stretching a little bit too far right now.
Yeah, this is what I worry about with Gen G in circles in situations like this. They tend to just over-rotate, get a little bit too far, and try to get something really center that is a little bit exposed. You can see Tiamba's moving away from this. They don't want to fight it. They're going to go retreat to the high ground and find that to be a safer situation.
Yeah, this is a lovely spot. I thought Tiamba was going to come for push before Gen G did, because they were already so much closer on the spot. But Tiamba does push out because they had the ground compound control right across the road. And where Gen G is totally not a safe spot against GEX, who's right next to him.
Well, the compound that GEX has just next to Gen G is a good one to push from. It's a little hard to defend, but if you're the last team alive in that compound, you have a good chance if the circle's anywhere near there. Now, Lingdu is in a bit of a skirmish with VLG.
Yes.
VLG is kind of wrapping around in front of MCG, trying to leapfrog ahead.
Yeah, this is exactly where VLG loves to have that 2-2 split. They had 1-1-1-1 split last week in the same position. And we might run into a somewhat similar circle ending.
And then it hard shifted away from them.
Again? If it happens
VLG.
again, it's just destiny.
Destiny, yeah.
They can't do much.
Speaking of tanky, he's going to get the knock onto Spear for MCG, and him and Lambu are hanging out. Nope.
Infantry already setting up a line against 4AM after hearing the vehicles. Infantry, Longskir's coming.
All right, Longskir is waiting. He's going to, I think, try to pop on the back vehicle.
Crazy.
Indeed, he's going for Crazy. Crazy takes a bunch of damage initially. He is very, very hurt from that opening shots, and Zhao Yang's going to help out and finish the job. Godby knocked as well from Longskir. And Infantry is going to pick up 2 in transition, it looks like.
SLR doing the job. Infantry getting a couple of sweet points as 4AM made a very late rotation. Sort of forced by K7 after checking out all Leones.
Oh no, it is Destiny, G-Clef. It just goes hard away from VLG. Again! Now, GEX, if they can hold this down, has a fantastic spot in this circle. Gen G is okay, but it's exposed. So it's going to require some good fighting to make it work, and Longskir indeed is going to pick up the point from Godby and 4AM, and now forever he was towards Tiamba, lucky, in my opinion, to come out with his life with how close he was.
Yes, I think Tiamba will be pushing on to them at the next upcoming circle, unless we again have this hard shift towards the south. Genji actually pretty safe. GEX will actually be somewhat of a protection like guards with Genji right below him. I love the quick rotation. As soon as the protocol popped, GEX forced all 4 men together so they do not lose any position.
I mean, for Genji, the problem becomes there's a lot of high ground around them. They're in a bit of a kind of a dip. So it can be a little tricky. I've seen teams pull it off though. It's doable. It just takes a little bit of skill and a little bit of help from the other teams fighting each other. These guys right here, man.
Yeah, Genji actually might get a lot of points because a lot of teams will be rushing into that dip. And if the other teams don't have, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Destination Gaming, wait!
All right, you got to win this. You got to win this. This is a huge moment for Genji. This has got to go well. A good grenade for Pio.
Easy win.
Easy peasy. AO picks up the last one on to get Destination Gaming white, but they were not ready for Genji.
Yeah, this was exactly near where we had the finish last week, where Tiamba just got a huge win. And I think OPGG is thinking about pushing, and GEX should be helping out. As again, another rotation into exactly where Genji is. You happy? Like none.
Oh my god.
Gone.
Everybody's trying it. So yeah, Genji is holding this down very, very nicely so far. That's another point. 5 kills already in the bag for the black and gold. And New Happy now is over towards Afrika up on the side, up on the northeast. A good grenade into EJ's face, gonna set him prone, going for his heels. Long skirt and infantry in the meantime have settled up on the southeast of this.
And infantry, they also want a piece with already 5 kills in their pockets. Afrika being challenged by New Happy, diving in. Wow, Jiao is just taking all that ground control against EJ. He's down now.
Well, this is...
And Roja,
we've been looking to see New Happy pick it up on Miramar, and this might be their round to shine. We'll see if they can fend off Afrika and infantry. That's going to give them a lot of confidence, I would think, going forward. Now, Afrika, though, has to survive this volley from 9. 9's grenade is so good. This guy all over the place here today, and it is going to be Afrika just dusted. OPGG helping once again finish another team off.
Yeah, Jiaoyan came all the way out from the storage side, where I don't think anyone covered that angle from New Happy or Afrika Freaks. Good push, making sure Longsker was buying all the attention from front line. Yeah, infantry still showing their power, that they can certainly move up to the top view.
Now MCG finds themselves in a slightly similar position in a way, where they're on the backside of a hill with another team coming up towards them. As this time it's Sun Sister who does pick up a point off of them, but for now Sun Sister's content to hang out and wait to see what this next circle does before they make their move. And yeah, this just centers right up. It's a big old donut on this one.
Yeah, when Sun Sisters, they want to move down from that hillside, they will be targeted from multiple different angles. Even GEX will get easy shots. MCG, I think they just have to steal a few points if it's possible from that angle and not really run away, unless they have a really good chance when there's other fights going on right next to him.
Under, still alive.
He's still alive.
He's still alive. He has himself another vehicle as he is going to go towards one of these busted up churches and see what's going on. And for now, there are a few shots ringing out towards him as he's making a little bit more noise, which makes things, of course, challenging for him, looking to see if there's anybody around. In fact, there's nobody home right now. Back over to the surviving members of 4 AM. 2 alive for them, and K7 looms.
Yes, they will continue to get that fight. Still, they meet outside of the circle, even in circle. This time, K7 is going to keep 4 AM out. Now, infantry diving into Genji should be easy shots.
Ooh, what?
As Loki was...
Oh my god. Oh no, Loki wasn't ready for that one. I don't think anybody would be.
No.
Pio's trying to hold the line here, see if he can finish the job, and Onyx stepping up to try to back up Genji. A lot of members of infantry going down. Pio coming up huge for Genji right now as AO steps in again to save Genji's bacon. Longsker is down, and it is falling apart for infantry.
And even K7 getting a kill into Onyx. Now only 9 left for infantry as they have made that big dive. As I think Genji will be safe still, as Pio actually goes down to Tiamba from all the way down. Linshu came for that information across the road.
Oh, he cut across the road without anybody noticing, and now he is getting points because of it and making Genji suffer. Oh no, Aqua 5
is toxic.
It's so bad here, and Onyx is res, but but he's stuck in nothing but a single smoke, and he's going to have to find some way to stay alive and win this, and this becomes the problem for Gen G. Too many teams are too interested in this spot.
Infantry actually made a very smart rotation in, not directly into Gen G. They heard those shots, so came right on top, but Tiamba's also falling apart.
Luren goes right into the arms of K7, or excuse me, GEX. So that's going to change their ideas. And Under comes through with a point here. He's going to finish off XTD and Pero. And so, okay, Under's still alive. He's all alone. Now, Sun Sister did hear that, and I don't know how interested they are in letting Under survive because of it.
Oh, I think they're about to push from the top. That should be one of the easier kills that they want to make it happen. OPGG, they should have line of sight against them, but it's not too close to them. As a circle, we do have the northwest shift. Still GEX in a good control. MCG surprisingly will be keeping a pretty good position.
Under jumps to actually see how close Sun Sister is to him there. Meanwhile, Tianba, this road is now a death trap. They got one member across it. They got a point, but at what cost? Because now everybody else is falling apart and there's nowhere for them to go. Circle shifts away from them again. And Onyx still holding on somehow, some way. OPGG continues to farm from the top.
Yeah, OPGG did not push too far, only picking up what they needed when Genji was getting all the... So okay, Genji was doing all the cooking, OPGG just eating. Eating out of those plates.
All the hard work being done by Gen G, I guess. But OPGG, this is a really nice round for them. They're already catapulting themselves into 4th place, and that is a really, really interesting start to the day because they might try to recover from that game that they almost won on Miramar where Tianba ended up winning. I felt like they had a shot at it, and they might want some redemption here.
Yep, as Under to jump into vehicle as Savior. Oh no, 4 a.m. 2 snakes right in this road, and they actually might bring K7 down. Or at least delay them from even reaching the circle, and Under might just get a few more points because of this.
I was going to ask you, what do you think Under should do? Should he shoot?
Yes.
Try to pick up the points?
100%.
He's doing it. Oh, Zennon helps out, though. Now he's switching over to that M4, trying to steal the points. No! It's going to be Summer from MCG.
Yeah, no more 7s on his on SLR, so had to switch.
Yeah, it's just, and it's tough trying to get those long-range M4 shots. AO's going to find Giao Nu Happy out in 11th. Meanwhile, Tianba scrambling, attempting to find some entrance, some door that is open, but GEX is here, and they are not interested in opening it, and Leo gets the opening knock, and it's going to be Yan Li finishing the job. Now over to 4AM Lu. Lu has one. He's going through the smoke, finding the other. And
1-1.
That is it. It is just Lu left here as Lock. Ooh, he gets stunned in the face. The blue's almost on top of him. He might go down to the blue if he's not careful. That's going to force him up. He takes a tick of damage. Indeed, it's going to be Lu taking him down.
Xiaolu still stays on strong, and GEX, they don't want to let this go. They want to take him down immediately. I don't think they know exactly where Onyx is. And that's exactly going to be the trap against CC.
Yeah, they did. You're absolutely right. They had no idea Onyx was still hanging out over here, or at least they might have just kind of gotten so distracted with 4 a.m. Now Onyx is seeing if he can come into the flank of this. Lu does go down to Leo, so that's all eyes, all attention. GEX onto Onyx. He's going to go down. And a 6th place finish for Gen G, but some decent amount of kills there. Tough position to be in. And they do okay with it, though.
Yeah, not bad. As GEX still keeping that squad, will be coming down from the higher hillside. But because OPGG actually has a lot of good terrain to move out, either towards north or staying in the east, can actually force a lot of other teams to fight before reaching them. So OPGG I think has the best idea of highest percentage of getting the chicken dinner in this match.
Now I think Sun Sister should wrap all the way to the south side of the circle if they can.
They should have already.
Yes, they should have. Yes, but they should. I think they can do this though. There is Summer in their way, kind of. With MCG, they can MCG's going to kind of see this. If Sun Sister can get MCG out of their way, they can wrap towards the south and maybe cut off GEX a little bit, and they might have a chance at actually taking the first chicken dinner for a non-Chinese or Korean team.
OPGG, they had a lot of these chances, but every single time, unless the circle got right on top of them, they missed the chicken dinner opportunities. I think this is another chance for OPGG right now with VLG actually pushing into Sun Sisters. Perfect, pushing them out. Only fight they have to think about is against GEX right now on this east side. MCG, they can just chill with 2 members right in the middle.
And I think GEX might just kind of nestle up right underneath OPGG, and there might be some grenades and stuff thrown. If there are any knocks, then maybe somebody's going to make a go at it. But until that becomes necessary, we'll see. Mao Ye takes some damage on the side. Yan Li as well getting hit here. And VLG shooting in the backside of OPGG while all this is going on. Grenades are now starting to come out. CC gets the opening knock onto Silky. Silky has fallen, but first knock there, so smokes are coming down.
And not too far away, and the two Afaka, Ayo from the back, they do have covering fire, but they don't have too much time. I don't think they should go for the res at all. Just covering the angles and shooting from the high ground should be it. With Dumbo just keeping the front line. As Leo is actually pushing from the side.
All right, Dumbo is going to see it. Nobody there, nobody's fooled by that one, but now there's mollies here. Dumbo is going to get knocked by the molly. Good mollies from GEX to really kind of completely cover the backside of that. And they're pushing right into OPGG. Alphaka's the only one left. Ayo goes down. Alphaka can't hold. GEX coming up big, taking OPGG out.
That was pretty quick. Well handled by GEX. Now they have most of the circle, high ground control. This is about the fight. It's all about the fight on the west. Sun Sisters versus BLG. They've made Lambu gets the first knock. Even MCG getting a taste from the side. They're pushing in.
Dead.
Sun Sisters.
Dead. Down and out. Sun Sisters just completely sandwiched between MCG and BLG. No hope once that pressure started to come down. Once the knock happened, it was blood in the water.
MCG's going for a chicken dinner.
Tons of sharks. Oh, they absolutely could do it. MCG, we've seen it with Summer and Evo Lee there. It'd be nice to have Tanky, of course, but those two players are for sure able to get it done. GEX fanning out along the eastern edge, covering up the hills, seeing if they can get along that ridge line there and work it out for now. It's part of it's in, and they're going to be safe. The real question is, where does this, where are they going to make their move? Because they have to come over that hill.
Evil Lee's position is insanely good against GEX. GEX, they do have to come down eventually from that small hill. As this rock will cover Evil. But Summer.
Oh my god.
Being knocked out. Evil Lee's got to get that knock right now.
He's not able to get it. He's not able to get it. He sees another member through the top of the smoke there, but that's alerted everyone to Evil Lee's presence, and they all know he's the last member of MCG alive. So everybody's kind of tunneled into him for a second, hoping to knock them out of the round and make it a lot easier for both of their respective teams going forward. Summer is finished by CC. Hikari in a duel. Evil Lee is not able to get those shots really to connect as well as GEX's CC.
And meanwhile, this is going on. VLG trying to surround the entire squad of GEX. Lambu's position, I think he has to go a little bit quicker. He's trying to strike from the side. As Evil Lee will be taken care of soon enough. Actually staying alive for quite a time.
I don't know if he can hold on much longer. The stun was good, and that is going to be Evil Lee and MCG out in third place. Lambu comes up, completely catches Mao Ye. No clue that's coming. That's going to be one down and out for GEX. And now they have three flanks to look at. Hikari's going to get CC. This is looking really good. Leo does return the favor. He's going to get two. Leo might be able to do it. It's a 1v1. Hikari's going to do the job. BLG comes up and finishes the round.
And what a play. Just wrapping around them like a snake. Lambu just going all the way out, reaching them. There's knowing that there has to be a turret all the way in the back, getting that high ground control, and they have made that sneaky play. VR Luke Ghibli. Finally, it's been a long time since they got the chicken dinner.
Yep, it's been a little bit. It's been a hot minute, but they are back, and they are one of those teams that absolutely can be in contention. This should throw them right up towards the top of that leaderboard. They were in the top 5 to start the day. They're going to be really close to that top 3, I'd say.
Is it really happening? The odd days for Korea, even days for China. Like so far, OG and Entus, VLG seems like it's going for Korea today so far, and slightly disappointed from OPGG's dominant play. I think they had a lot of great terrain control all the way from the top, but GEX, they showed something else today that they have not shown at all throughout the tournament.
That was the best round we've seen for GEX.
Yes.
Everything was going their way, and they took a good position. They worked well with it. They picked up a lot of kills. Yeah, absolutely, I agree with you. The best round we've seen from them.
Yes, as they almost had the chicken dinner, but MCG, they actually come up the hill, wrapped around Sun Sisters, wanted a few more points, forcing GES to come down from a pretty good position.
Yeah, I think Sun Sisters are going to watch that one and kick themselves a little bit for not trying to hit the backside of GEX a little sooner, because they could have been that last team. I mentioned it early on. When you're the last team to come out of that warehouse, you have a really good shot at winning this round. GEX, in this case, was that team because no one else came behind them. They just kind of held that down. No one even tried for it. And then at the end of the day, they get a second place and a lot of kills.
I think on Sisters, they expected MCG because knowing that they only have 2 left, they would just stay in the middle, trying to get those sweet kill points, not expecting them to come from the other side. As we had a lot of run into Genji, but lost with infantry.
GX2 were also attempted to be run into, but from not the best of angles to attack that particular compound. And you can see here, OPGG just cannot stand up against that assault by GX.
And GX, they had somewhat of knocks. They had about 3-4 knocks, but they actually closed in together, making sure they have a backup within the next member's net. And they stayed with near full squad until the end. Well played by GX in this round.
No, you got to give them a ton of credit. They really showed us something special there. They looked like, you know, the best version of themselves. Their mechanics were good. Their decision making was good. Everything looked good there. It was just a really smart flank from BLG that tore them apart. And there you go. They are tied with Ghibli for 17 points.
Yeah, with that many kills, they cleaned up so much from the southern side. Ojin enters, getting 4 AM, also running into a lot of different teams. A pretty dominant round, and also OPGG, they got pretty good circle. And they had a pretty good upper hand against the other teams. 10 kills in total. Did not know that they got that many kills.
And look at this. Genji comes out here with 7 kills, 2 placement points for that hard work that they did taking that center circle. So yeah, I'd say definitely worth it. It was tough, but they got it done. They're good, of course, they're a good close quarters fighting team. So, you know, in those situations, you expect them to do well, and they did.
Multi-circle gaming, some placement points with 2 members alive, getting a few kill points, not bad. Infantry, 0 for placement, but 8 kills. So I think that should still be worth it.
So with a little bit of help from under, Entis scrapes together a few points, and they're able to stay ahead of Tianba, although it wasn't the best of round for Tianba either. Multi-circle gaming is closing the gap a bit, but a big chunk of this damage being done by VRLU, Ghibli, and OPGG.
See a few more teams climbing up towards the top few. Also 4 Angry Men. They're being extremely aggressive today, especially with the center Miramar circles, even towards the south when they control that middle road where it lands. It just connects too many roads together to Pecado. And 4 Angry Men, they basically control that middle part for the entire Miramar matches, so they got a lot of kills. Still staying strong in 6, but moving into Erangel, wonder what kind of rotation they will make.
I'm really curious about that too. I think if you're looking at the leaderboard, if you have over 100 points, you still have a shot.
It's possible,
but you need to get going. Erangel has to go well, and I'd say you have to finish within 40 points of the top to even have a hope. All right, guys, we are going to take a break, a short one. We got a halftime show coming up. Stay tuned. We'll be back with PCS3 Asia.
PUBG Esports แล้วก็สิ้นระเบิดลูกนี้สวยๆลงเข้าหน้าพี่เบนแน่ๆ
เต็มครับบึ้มเต็มเท้า
It's a conscious effort to do so. Yeah, it definitely is. They went for the push. They're obviously a little splitting up. Positioning is so awkward. Nice grenades coming out from Pretty Please and top.
在基地防区的是不是够仔细的？因为防区里面有 Sun Sister 的一名成员躲在这个位置，
这感觉情报有抓到，这情报有抓到。
反弹雷位置蛮像的哦，直接就把 FHI 炸掉了，倒地出局。
It was about to start coming in, and it was a second hard shift in a row towards the west side, away from this position.
Ooh! Next Griffin fight will see good forever. God, he's so good. We know it. We've known it for years. Forever is nuts. This grenade, if it counts, is going to be good enough.
Oh!
The grenades are
business always, and that's why they came top of the table, like 5-14.
우리 팀의 시나리오가 아직은 열려 있습니다.
자, 이거 들이받았죠?
와, 인디고!
인디고 대치까지!
Now that smoke will last for a while, but it's not impenetrable, and it won't hold back those flames. Already getting a touch of damage. You can see Vard and Iroh in all kinds of trouble.
Huh?
Iroh just makes it into cover. He finds Clib, and Clib finds him first. Already Vard going down. That is going to be a white TSM.
형, 선 두기절이야 이러면. 선 밀지 않을래?
끝났어. 잭스 싸움 끝났어. 잭스 와야 돼.
그거 기절, 그 바로 앞에 기절. 야, 동아 뒤에 올랐어, 뒤에 올랐어, 뒤에.
동환이가 사주는 중.
사줬어,
너 내려와야 돼.
내려갈게.
끝. 이거 잭스 안 걸쳐. 잭스 막아야 돼.
막아야 돼, 픽스 막아야 돼.
잭스 쪽 앞에 잡고 잭스 막아야 돼.
이쪽에
나 사우스 이거 위에 show 볼게 이거.
야, 바로 앞도 핑. 와, 여기 애들 많다.
잭스 끝. 4대3. 4대3.
오른쪽에 3명 있었다.
4대3이야. 천천히 차이가
내 쪽 거.
2번 돌아나. 2번 큰 돌아나.
도원아, 네 앞쪽에 하나 붙었다. 핑. 2명이다.
부탁 하나 기절.
하나 더.
네 앞에 누워있다, 네 앞에 누워있어. 그다 이거.
필.
야, 멀리 기절, 라스트.
야, 바로 앞에, 네 바로 앞에, 네 바로 앞에 갔어.
Let me be something. You wanna give me your head. If I ain't your girlfriend, I won't let go of your hand. Disappointed, 'cause you'll never see me. I'm better than you think of you. You're not very simple, you. Hold me to the waist, baby, touch me on my skin, will you love me? Let me be something that you never imagined. Hold me to the waist, baby, touch me on my skin, or just love me. Something that you never imagined. Let me be something. You wanna give me your head. Disappointed, 'cause you'll never see me. I'm better than you think of you. You're not very simple, you. Hold me to the waist, baby.
Welcome back, everybody. PCS3 Asia halftime show. That's our wonderful host, Lee Hyun Kyung, but it is Paper Thin and G Clef. We're going to be talking to you, just breaking down a little bit of what we've been seeing here so far. Miramar is done. Now it is on to Erangel for the final 2 games of the day.
Yes, we have a lot to talk about before we go into that wonderful battleground that we had from the original. Still, the war is on for Tiamba and Genji. I think there will be a fight. Very likely, Genji does not want to drop without a fight, as they're now in 7th place. It is possible.
Well, you know, yeah, that's a really good point coming into Erangel, right? It's South George that we're talking about where this fight is going to happen. If you just tuned in to PCS3 Asia for the first time, where have you been? First of all,
yeah, where have you been?
Get in here, get your friends in here, let everybody know what's going on.
Coming in though.
Yeah, no, for real. No, we really appreciate you guys. And will that happen? I mean, we saw Genji back off after losing just 1 round. All it took was 1 round early on.
one fight, game number 1 and game number 3 because Erangel, and they immediately backed out. So because of that, we can talk about a little bit later. I think we are on OJ and Entis. Yes. Absolute crazy. Of course, match number 2 today. Infantry set up a pretty nice Exodia trap right in the middle. and this stayed no chance.
Yeah, it was hard, man. It is tough when a team sets up a trap that you're not expecting in kind of an unusual spot, and it's on you to be if you've never seen it, you gotta be thinking about it. You gotta be paying attention to those shoot drops. You gotta know exactly where infantry landed, and at least I think Entis was aware that it might be there, just obviously not where it was, because they would have only lost 1, I think, had they been had they had any idea that was going to happen.
If they even paid attention, because they know that infantry is right below them towards Impala. But usually they don't stretch out that far into the field. And I don't think they have set up that sort of a trap before. So Entis was caught big time, not gaining too much points in the second match. But another team that, of course, we should keep our eyes on. Pero, they were explosive last week. But today, where are they? Like, we haven't really been seeing too much of Pero. Always, when we have that on screen, they already lost a member or 2 in the rotation.
It's been pretty boom or bust for Pero overall. They just seem to either have it or they don't. And right now, it's looking so far like one of the days where they just don't seem to have that mojo, that magic that we've seen from them last week. And that happens. I mean, sometimes teams go through good days, sometimes teams go through bad days and all that kind of thing. So for Pero, I'm curious to see, like, I don't think, it's pretty unlikely that they're going to win this event, but you never know. But
will they have somewhat of a bounce again, like last week?
Exactly. That's what I'm looking for.
Do you think it can happen? With some different rotations coming out from all the other teams, I think, especially a team like Pero, which is a team that loves to basically jump into a compound and find out what's happening right there with lack of information. That has been even worse because of lots of rotational changes within the break that we just had before day 5.
Yeah, I think it's a bit tough. Now, maybe, if there's some situations they find themselves in where they can get something early and just hold it down, of course. I could say that for any team in the world, basically. But we've seen them do good with that. It's just going to be a lot of, are they going to be able to transition properly? Can they make those safe rotations and get somewhere into a late game situation where they aren't stuck on an edge, just getting torn apart between a couple different teams? And even when they kind of set up on an edge, they don't seem to have the best open terrain setups, if that makes sense.
Yes, they do love compounds.
Yes.
And when they go towards that open terrain setup, they usually lack in, they can't cover 360 sometimes. They would cover like 240, and then the other team would be shooting from the back or the side, and then they start to lose control. And especially if that's XDD, then basically the team's gone.
Yeah.
So that has been the story for Pero.
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part. As MCG also seeing pretty quiet today, actually.
Very quiet. Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of pressure. I mean, other than Summer, you're looking at some players that haven't had much, big international stage experience. So there is, of course, that going on. Now, they played very well this year in China in general, but they finally got here to this stage. And it's not easy, of course. And, you're seeing some of that kind of, you're not really seeing much from Tanky here so far today. He hasn't been the player that's survived into the late game. Yeah, he had one nice knock against Entis on Sungjiang, but even that wasn't enough. There was just too much Entis there for him to handle. And I think for MCG, you got to start getting points, and the way they've been doing it is kills. Are you going to be able to maintain that form?
I think they certainly do a lot better in rotational work in Erangel. So I'm expecting MCG to get more points in the last 2 matches for today. As we do have the damage. Finally, we have GEX members. What a lovely sight. Leo certainly was a great, made a lot of clutch play when they were forced by a lot of other teams. CC going into the front line was knocked a couple of times, but the squad was still strong.
Good to see Hikari up there once again for VLG. A long-time standout player in Korea. We've seen him on international stages from time to time, back when he was on Detonator here in Korea before that team went away. And since then, he's found a new home with VLG, and they've been extremely successful. And think about this, for 4AM and VLG, look what happens. They don't fight on Erangel, and Uh-oh, we're both in the top 5. Who would have thought that would happen? I don't know. I don't know who would have thought that would happen.
Well, if you run into VLG, they actually escape from a lot of fights, run into the circle and move quietly unless they really have to fight, unless they think that there is no answer way out, making it into the next phase. Then they would fight, and that actually has been working out pretty well.
Yeah.
Certainly a rotation they have been trying since the Korea qualifiers.
It is a little interesting to see how they're going to approach that. We are ready for game number 3 on the day. Erangel, 2 more to go for day number 5. Go time. Green. Little mountains here
Go
and there.
time, baby.
Some trees.
Yamba, Genji. This is not the last day.
Yeah, okay, Genji's out a little bit later than Tianba. Tianba's splitting with this. It's 3 out and then 1 late to watch the shoots.
Okay, Genji's going north with 2 to split.
Yep, it looks that way. This is more what we saw from Genji. I think Genji might have been fighting during the scrims to try to keep Tianba in check to make sure, because we saw Tianba reaching out to North George a lot to mess with Genji.
And especially when there's a very shifted circle, shifted phase 1, either towards the east, west, Genji would make very early rotation, like I have mentioned in the previous match, get a gun or 2, and then immediately at least win the rotational fight against Tianba. That was exactly what Genji was looking for during the scrim, all 4 rounds. So expect that to happen again in terms of at least rotations.
I want it to happen. I am ready for it as we watch some of the other teams make their drops. GEX over by the chopsticks, hanging out towards where one of our circles ended up, where Pero got one of their wins, their 3 in a row. Came near this very, very location. Infantry has to gather up and head down to their typical spot after grabbing a US, which is, I don't know what people call this spot. I just call it trash loot. Yes. Woo! Beautiful. I finished my coffee, so I think it's time. I think we're ready for a absolutely just wheels off circle.
Which where do you want it to end?
Near
the Mount Everest or the Western Beach side?
The Western
South
Beach
George?
the Western Beach is good. Inside of South George would actually be amazing because that fight that should have happened would never really happen between Tianba and Genji. Oh, this is the replay.
Yeah, this is the replay. I was about to say, like, oh, this.
I was like, that's not Miramar. Or, I mean, that's not Erangel.
No.
That's Miramar. I thought we were done with this map. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, VLG, smart rotating push, understanding GEX's rotation.
Dude, Hikari took the opening bullet there too. He could have gone.
Yeah, he could have gone down.
Gosh, his reaction, so good. He is just like one of these players that he's so good, but he's never really been on a team that's like competed for a title until now. Like Detonator's always kind of hanging around at the international events.
Yes.
But they've never really been there on the last day where I'm going, this is a team that I think has a shot to win. VLG absolutely in a position to do that.
I think he has finally found the right home for himself. As with Spear Deva, I think he can just excel. As we have seen some parachute kills happening.
Oh my god.
As it shouldn't really happen too many times. Pero's still on parachute, trying to go into military base or even find a vehicle right before that.
Well, I just looked at the map and Lin is totally watching this. And I think he was considering trying to take some shots from the 6-pack there, but he doesn't really have that great of an angle or opportunity to do it at this point. And basically, Pero's on the ground. VLG, your winners from the previous game. Their new home is the Razak Ruin Sunken City area, right along the river.
Yeah, but because they're not fighting 4 a.m. anymore, but because they were forced out by 4 a.m. in terms of rotation, this shouldn't be as bad. But still, you do have to sort of move into that southern side when you're talking Jorgopol. And I think VLG, always getting a late on the end of rotation because of 4 a.m. has been hurting their play a lot in Erangel.
Yeah.
And similar type of rotation again.
Look at where Hikari is. He's the first one up on top of the South George Mountain. He's the first one there, not Tianba or Genji. It's Hikari, which is quite fascinating to see him come up there. uncontested. Great job by our observer showing this. This is actually a really important moment in this game and in this tournament for VLG because they are left uncontested to have this high ground and get all the information.
Still having the vehicle all the way up here, we'll get a lot of information and movement from all the other teams. Gen.G, again, just like the scrims that we had yesterday, choosing to go towards the few small shack houses, just one-story houses towards that western beach side early on. They would still have 1-3 split with PO in the front. I think they want to go all the way even towards where Juanita is.
That's pretty typical for Gen.G on these western Erangel circles. So yeah, definitely not too surprising at all these days to see them. 4 AM cutting across the bottom side of the mountain, getting in the grill of Tianba a bit. But it is going to be, I think that's Godvi there in front. Godvi is going to not quite come close enough to Tianba to get their ears to perk up. Instead, he's heading towards Sun Sister a bit, maybe. Nope, Sun Sister is going to ring some shots out. Godvi moseys along, and he is setting up more to the west.
Yeah, those two, the Koreans, what Koreans call the honey houses, with the stories. That's a really nice compound to actually have, even against Gen.G. Gen.G can push them from the side, but not very unlikely at this point of the game. 4 AM actually. What? Okay, they're going for it.
Wow, they're gonna surround this, so they just decide to go for it. It's Crazy Sam right there, puts 2 down.
No.
Standing tall for Japan is Crazy Sam. Finishes 1. Forever on the side now. Forever does get Kendes, but Kendes gets Godvi in the situation here. Forever has Kendes down. Lou and Godvi, Forever's all alone right now. He turns, he gets Polly. Can he get another? Oh my god. Forever is cracked out of his darn mind. And now it's Luren from Tianba. They have reached out and they're gonna try to third party this. Faye goes down from Forever. Forever is a one-man wrecking crew.
He's taking the entire squad down by himself. As Tianba is going to, at the end, it's going to be Tianba basically surrounding and taking the compound, I think, or just moving back. I think they want to stretch out even a little further. But I think they heard Gen.G moving towards the side. Yeah, that fight cannot be lasting too long as Forever and Crazy Sam might just stay.
Well, this is interesting. It's the best from Japan. One of the best from Japan versus one of the best from... Yeah, that comes right out. It's a good one. So great movement here by Crazy Sam, and he wins the duel. That was really interesting. Crazy Sam was stunned, and he managed to get himself into that room. I'm assuming he was pretty well flashed up at that point. That's just goes to show how well his senses are of his position.
And moving in directly into the room. Pretty good mover, and also if he got any more body shots instead of the headshot, I think he would have lost that duel, 1v1. So incredible play coming out from Crazy Sam, one of the best player from Japan. 4 AM though, unfortunately.
I don't know why they did that. I'll save my thoughts for later. We do have some teams cutting across what people refer to as Everest, and I squint my eyes at them as that is not the tallest point on this map. But anyway, MCG is going to be able to successfully do this. There are a lot of trees down here, so it's pretty easy to make this rotation. That's why you see a lot of teams. We saw 4AM cut through here first. Now MCG second. Even if you're on top of the mountain, you can't really see down there well.
Yeah. Even if you see him, it has to be a pretty long shot. Unless you get pretty lucky with the headshots, it's going to be really hard to take anyone down from all the way up there. As MCG is actually making a reverse rotation into these compounds after hearing few shots coming from Tianba and also VLG. Because VLG was thinking about going down to the compounds, and immediately MCG, great decision making.
Yeah, I like this here by VLG because they knew that there was a chance that they crash into, I think Lambu was out on his own there. And if that happens, VLG needs to be there to back their team up. So it's great movement by both of these teams. MCG recognizing that going any further was probably pretty dangerous, and that for VLG, in case MCG goes a little bit further, they're there to support. Meanwhile, Entis is over to the west of the Chopsticks, pretty familiar territory for them, and OPGG right underneath, and New Happy underneath that.
Entis is having a pretty wide 2-2 split near on top of Gaka and near the Chopstick side. As OPG, I think they would go challenge into Entis if they had a better idea.
Go west, go west, go west, go west, go west, go west, go.
Okay, 3 more seconds.
I'm trying to channel
Here we
it.
go.
Ah, it's mostly centered up. Cuts a lot of the water out. Come on. It's going to be the fields most likely somewhere.
Yes.
Either, you know, to the ones up by Gatka or by Hospital. That's typically where I see these end up.
Yeah, near the electric lines, I think that's might just be the ending. As a lot of the teams will actually go towards that dip right at the south side of the field.
Yes, but this is a circle that I don't mind playing edge from the east. Coming in from the east of a circle like this on the edge, especially if it kind of centers up, is pretty strong. I see Buriram United do this a lot, where they just kind of work this edge really well. There's the road, but there's a hill underneath that road that you can kind of use. You can fend off all the other teams around you. You can stay underneath that road and survive for a long time.
Exactly, these pole points is what a lot of teams will be looking for. Tiamba, because they actually stayed on right on top of it, they knew that there was no one else. And having that easy rotation. Going into that right center. Let's see, Kari, Iron Sight. But a pretty slow target. Scar.
What are your feelings on the Scar Iron Sight? He had a 3x. He could have sprayed with that. Come on now.
Well, it's Scar is Scar.
I know. But what do you like Iron Sight like rankings like? Where is the Scar? Like, is it too? Do you not like those circular ones that have the point?
I would put punching on top of Scar.
Okay. Fair enough. I don't blame you.
Or throwing those number 4s.
I can't stand it. I cannot stand that Iron Sight. Anyway, AO here is a little under half health, as there is a crate over there just to his left, but New Happy is probably not going to let that happen, assuming there's stuff still in it. I kind of doubt it. We don't know for sure. We haven't gotten a shot of it or seen anybody come in or out of that crate necessarily, so we don't know if anything's still in there or not.
Yeah, I think New Happy would have taken it already.
Well, I'm trying to look and see if anybody
really close to them or anyhow
had the things that indicate there was the level 3 there.
Yes. K7 made it up with the vehicle, so Ghibli, they know what's up right onto the other side of the mountain. But Lambu is actually all the way down. They might actually retreat down the mountain since Ghibli, they do have vehicles.
Well, they got to go pretty soon or just wait this out. I mean, it looks like K7 might be going for some kind of 2-2 potentially as they send Loxlock and Savior down the mountainside. Now, my question is, Hikari's been kind of looking all the other directions, and he's taking peeks up over the hill to see if anybody's still around there. You know, how long is he going to wait? How patient are Zennon and his other member going to be up there? I'm not sure.
And I'm looking at the screen, and who's shooting that far from anywhere? And it has to be MCG. Oh, actually running into Hikari goes down first. Buyo.
Oh, Spear is good. Is he going to get another? Oh, my goodness. Buyo avoids disaster there, just gets his head underneath, but on the side, he's got some good help. Oh my God, Spear, nope, just a bit too far.
As this, only 2 men up here, as they heard the rotation down from K7. Good timing push. As long as they can keep Hikari alive, this will be totally worth it for a point or 2. As K7, I think they should just let Buyo do whatever he wants to, and just remain with the 2 members into Gatka or near Gatka. There are some spots where you can pull out the vehicles.
Yeah, I think for Buyo, who now its operation just stay alive, just be safe. It doesn't look like there's. This is kind of weird for me for K7 G-Clef, because K7 had vehicles and they used both of them to get down the mountain and left their 2 members stranded up there without any.
And I think V7, they should have also had real good idea that VLG was right in front. Actually, they will come all the way and keep Loxlock alive. Keep Buyo alive with that rotation. Genji coming into the swamps. You see.
PO with an M4. You love to see it. No, that's not necessarily by choice. That's probably by necessity, as timing was important for Genji to get across the bridge, get over to the other side as quickly as possible, because they know that Tianba is not happy to let Genji do anything that Genji wants to do early Erangel.
Yeah, early rotation certainly working out better for Genji from the west coast, as don't exactly know that Griffin's all the way out, but other than Griffin, they know that there has been no other rotation. And with good understanding, I think they can make safer rotation compared to other Erangel games. Lambu looking for that final rotational, the tail.
Well, Detonation Gaming White has done it so far. Now Infantry popping some shots, and it doesn't really connect. So Detonation Gaming White makes a really nice rotation here. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I love the pathing. They short through the sort of a valley right there in the middle. And this will be one of the easier rotations from them. NCG again cutting across near where Entus was right before.
VLG has 2 back on the mountain watching this rotation, giving the information over to Spear and Lambu, who are pushing up into Gatka. Gatka has enough room for 2, maybe 3 teams if they're nice. If they want to play nice. If they don't want to play nice, then 2 is usually about the most you're going to get in there.
That fight still continues. Xavier moving out of Gatka, understanding that VLG, they have more members, more vehicles, as he was also split away from Buyo and Lockslock away from the left side of Chopsticks.
This one's pretty interesting. It's about half field, half, foresty mountain kind of thing.
Yes, and these spots where OPGG has this 1-1-1 split set up, when the circle likely going to come in towards the side, when they have that set up, western side usually before the hill gets cleaned up by the other team. As long as you're keeping that field open towards the east, and OPGG can just get easy steal kills, and that's the exact reason why they have that 1-1-1 split, as no other team is going to challenge. That's a small shack for an entire squad.
You say that, and then somebody like
that Wizard House
just rolls up.
Or Pero.
Yeah, just somebody that does something that you're not expecting, what is out of the ordinary, and it is going to be the Gatka Fields is where we're looking. Now, Entus, the 2-2, we both saw this immediately and are thinking, what do you do here if you're Entus? This is a tough one. Both of your compounds are kind of equidistant from the center of this circle.
Depends if they lose. I don't think they will lose anyone from using the lower side of the field. MCG is not going to get too many shots in. And understanding this is the big field, as they had to make that choice, but they know that MCG is right above them. And knowing that K7 also pulled towards Chopsticks, this is the best compound that Entus could have gone into.
Opens the door for MCG to take the compound that Entus just left. MCG quick on the gun to get there. Nice movement by them to claim that open real estate. Now Crazy Sam still alive, 3 kills for him. Crazy Sam, what a moment there for him. Picking up too early in the push from 4 a.m. and then finishing the job. He gets a knock on a Loki even. This guy is an incredible player. You guys got to check him out. He streams. He's an amazing talent, even though he goes down from Japan. Just what a player.
Yes, still, if he got a kill knock onto Aqua 5, it could have been deadly for Gen.G. With just 1 knock, I think they should be okay, but Mao Ye stealing that kill when he was getting that res.
And then he just turns and runs. He takes the point. Thank you very much.
The revenge.
Yeah, over to Tianba, who's crashing into New Happy on the southern side. They're cutting clear across the field to get here as members of Tianba. Now, Lin Shun has plenty of throwables, and he's going to expend a lot of them to try to make this push work. Some initial damage comes into Shao K. Now we're coming up the stairs. Shao K is here. Shao K gets 1. He gets the flush. Now the other member comes up and over. Peeks. Repeats is going to get it onto Shao K.
Not enough bullets. That is great movement there. You have to be still up for a challenge. Shot immediately fired by Ming Ming as this still continues. A lot of other teams.
Teammate?
A lot of other teams might actually just cut across.
What are you doing, Ming Ming? I think that's a little bit just shoot at anything you see. You get in the tunnel vision mode.
Yeah, or you're shooting at some target and your teammate just cut across right in front of you. That's usually what happens. Oh! Lost that. That was timing that you could not miss. And Shu, you know something's up.
Ooh, he gets a piece. He gets a piece of New Happy. Who push on through. Oh, Ming Sung comes in, and it is disaster here for Tianba. It was Lycanon, not Min Sung. Min Sung was killing Peril.
Yeah, Min Sung, right below the
close
fight.
to this fight.
Yeah, very close, about 100 meters out. Yeah, Griffin Peril pulled out at exactly the same time. Those compounds are actually really hard to guard against the teams challenging in. Lots of terrain right next to it. Lots of fences.
That's a good point. AO here. He's going to get the knock onto, and the finish onto Yan Li, but Leo has the knock on a Dunbo, and now Gen.G.
They have some idea.
Yeah, yep. This is, if that grenade is good on the money, there's some damage done onto Gokuri. That grenade doesn't really hit much for Gen G as they now wrap because the circle is pushing them in, but they've got a good angle on top of Detonation Gaming White.
Chow might be able to cook Gen G right now as Gokri goes down immediately, but the two members right next to Gen G, they're on a run. They had to go. Ooh, I think they waited a little too long.
Well, they got to get prone. They got to get prone. It's going to be a headshot from Lin. Gets Anonix. He gets the smokes down at least. Maybe can get the res. I'm not sure if there's enough of an angle here for Lambu or Lin or any other team to get that finish, as Machao does go down to the blue, so he's not able to get up and pop it out in time. Instead, it's going to be Pio raking it in for free.
Yep, Pio on the rage mode.
Yeah.
No one can stop him.
No, that is true. There are very few in the world who can stop Pio when he is angry. And now, speaking of angry, it's going to be infantry in a UAS, and they might be
one vehicle.
They're trying to take advantage of this fighting they heard up on top of here, but yeah, one vehicle, clown car, a lot of shots. That's one out. There might be more coming. Sungjong, Entis. Oh boy.
Good switch. The driver went down immediately, getting that driver's seat. And not bad. Losing one man, but still keeping the bottom part of this small hill. Should be okay. But where are you going to stay? That's the concern. Because Entis, they have an open wide angle at any team that stays near OPDG.
Yeah, it looks like Ghibli's going to have to play something in this field. They're going to have to find something they like and set up a vehicle compound. Infantry now ditches the vehicle, but right into the waiting open arms of AO. One down. Let's see if AO can hold this down and finish off infantry. Ooh, I don't think he saw.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think he saw. He's going to hear that, though. He can't come out that window safely.
Flash.
There's no way you could vault in time. Good flash by 9.
Yeah, nicely done by infantry, although they lost another member, still being able to keep that penthouse. Now will be challenged by Griffin immediately from the side of the hill. Yeah, right on top. GEX also Genjing pushing, but whoever the winner is from that side will not be getting a chicken dinner from that side at all.
Oh
So
boy. Oh,
maximum they can do is get some kill points.
Yeah, VLG, they have a very difficult situation where they have to get into the field. There's nothing else left. They have to set up some kind of, encampment, and they have a ton of smokes already being used. There's still a few left here, and I think they might be able to get this res, barring some unlucky fire or grenades.
Oh, but MTG's coming. You see smokes. That's exactly where you throw nades. They have a lot of smokes, but if they use everything up now, they cannot stay in the fields.
Yeah, they gotta win this fight, and they gotta do it quickly. Deva tries to get the spray onto Evil Lee, but it's actually Kale from Entis who put shots into him. He probably is a little bit unsure of exactly where those bullets hit him, because he's got multiple angles that he's gotta be dealing with. Grenades are now raining in. In the meantime, Griffin is taking on teams on the southwest and doing well with it. Molly's on top, a little bit too far. That one's gonna be a little bit too short, but VLG is very banged up.
And we do have the circle right on the field with Entis in it. So, and Genji right now, they're dribbling towards the edge against Griffin. Asura actually taking a lot of members down, even against GEX. It's going to be on the right bottom corner of your screen.
All right.
Genji.
Yeah.
Pio left.
Yeah, Pio's trying to get something going on the down there. Tanky comes up. Tanky takes VLG down. Now he's showing up. There's one left. I think he's going to finish it, or somebody might. Deva was very, very hurt. Now he's proning down inside of the field, and Tanky's just watching the edge. Stun comes through to buy Tanky some time. Grenade's good enough.
Yeah, look at Kale. Kale actually stepped out looking for those kills and making sure MTG cannot overstep too much. And under all the way at the western side, making sure they have no one left in the field. They're already setting up for that big win here, where they still have the compound control. Griffin winning against two big teams.
Yeah, Griffin showing signs of life. They haven't flatlined just yet. Trying to get something, trying to find a respectable finish. Pero is going to suffer a fall at the hands of Afrika. And now Entis looks good. MCG looks good. Afrika has to get into the circle, and they kind of have to duel a little bit of MCG and 9 as well. And Indigo gets on top of the house, and he is going to pepper people from there.
Evil Lingdu all the way towards Afrika right now. Cannot get knocked, or else Entis is actually going to do a lot more. Under already using the vehicle, positions right in the middle of the next phase.
Under's got to be careful of 9. 9 is kind of the person right now who has the best angle onto him, and Under, maybe that hill's enough in the way that Under doesn't have to worry about it too much. But but 9 has to come into the next circle. Instead, he's just going to try to fight Afrika right now. As there are 2 members over there. Headshot onto Roa there puts him down to very low health, and 9 is hurt too.
Exactly. Better signs for MCG. Better to pull off against Afrika because Entus will be pushing through. And it's better to keep the squad together towards the northern line and let these 2 fight before.
All right, Under. There you go.
Came all the way across.
Perfect. Just he knew that hill was enough to keep him, you know, kind of covered. And 9 didn't come over that hill, so he knows where 9 is.
Will this be an overextension? Indigo's got him covered up somewhat. And they have very open wide to split. Indigo's right behind. And Songjang's going to put one down. Afrika freaks. They still have to...
Well, I think the utility's good here for Entus, so they're also hedging their bets with where the circle ends up going. And if they can finish Afrika off, and maybe they're hoping that MCG helps them out a bit, Entus can, you know, just kind of pick up a bunch of kills and then force MCG into a crossfire. Indigo!
Under!
Oh my god!
Afrika's falling apart with just 2 men from the side. MCG's not even getting a shot in because they just can't. They have to push through, and when they push through towards the south, it forces a harder rotation towards the real body of Entus, who's actually on top.
This is so nice for Entus, the confidence to make this maneuver. They're going to pick up a lot more kill points and probably put them in a position to potentially get the win.
It is still risky because they do have Under all the way at the bottom. They do have the compound control, and MCG, if they get a good knock onto KO, they are going to have some time to actually move in. Under just trying to do magic. Songjang Under.
I love it.
Okay. It could have been risky, but just pushing far, getting a knock, and then pushing, going back out. Understanding that MCG, this is the timing for them to push into Entus.
All right, Songjang's trying to catch damage. It is Summer who is knocked, so Ling Du is here. Johnny on the spot going for the res. Songjang, in the meantime, takes a quick peek behind the house and waits to see what's going on as Evo Lee knows full well where he is and what he's doing. Indigo, in the meantime, roaming around the center. Under's going to finish Roa off. That knock he got from vaulting on top of the hay bale. I don't see players do that basically ever. I love that maneuver by Under.
That knock onto Summer was crucial. MCG was about to push into the next line with the vehicles that they have. And Entus, 10 kills already. Maximum they can get is 14. And 4v4.
4v4.
We had this before.
We did. First place and third place gonna duke it out to try to finish this one. Entus looking for their second win, looking to extend their lead. Early damage being done to Songjang. First aid gonna be used up. Now it is a little bit of a vehicle movement here for Summer and Ling Du. It's nice to have those vehicles available in a circle like this.
Songjang keeping the backup control from the turret from on top of the house. I think he just came down to open up another angle from the eastern side. Indigo already with a pretty big trap. With the smokes, they pretty much know where they're coming from. And the next circle, Entus has total control of this.
Yeah, they got to get this opening knock here. Does MCG. They saw Indigo, and he's crawling back. There is enough smoke there to obscure the vision. Now Songjang comes alive. Songjang has a great angle. Gonna get the knock onto Tanky. The top fragger for MCG down already. Now it's gonna be up to the surviving 3 to try to finish the job.
Yeah, you have some time to get that drink off for the extra energy. But the Summer comes big time, takes down Under from the side. It's a big wing that they need.
Indigo goes down now as well. Songjang continues to make it hurt. Ling Du, the only one left for MCG. He's coming through. There are smokes here to go for the res. Does Kale have any throwables? He's trying to go for the angle right now. Knows full well that the res is being attempted. He's trying to find a counter angle.
Yep, he's trying to find an angle, but Spice buying the same time because Songjang's coming in for the backup. He was waiting for him to come, as that will be finished 2-2 left for MCG and also Entus.
All right, these frags are monumental for Songjang. That first one's gonna be good right on Summer. Gonna get the knock. Now he's looking for the second or the finish. Ling Du has to wait back. It is not safe. Danger, danger here for Ling Du. Now he gets up, looking to see if he can spot out any members. Stun is here. Kale spots him out. Kale gets the shots. Entus gets their second win of the day.
And again, 2 chicken dinners for OG and Entus. That's going to put up quite a lead for them as they were up pretty high against Tiamba, against MCG, but taking a pretty big opponent down into the top 3 with your own hand, that's gotta be big going into the final match today.
It's monumentally huge for Entis.
14 kills.
Just incredible. 12 kills in their first win, 14 in this one. Already a 40-plus point day for Entis, looking to have the best day we've seen from any team so far here in PCS3 Asia. The best we've had, 47 points coming into this. Entis is not too far away from that.
Wow. What a dominant play. Having that big 2-2 split was risky, but after knowing so many teams were clumped up from that western side near the Pentagon, I think that's the reason why they still kept 2-2 split. It was risky, and there were lots of risky decisions that Entis made, but because they sort of knew that this was their day. This has to be the day for Entis. They had the confidence after getting that big Miramar win, ended up costing even more for them with better kill points.
It's great to see the confidence that they have, and I think a lot of that is because of, like you were talking about earlier, G-Club, the accuracy is propelling their confidence. When you're this accurate, when you're this dialed in with your mechanics, with your shooting, with your recoil control, all of those things, that just, leads to good decisions, to the confident decisions that, be aggressive, take the fight to the other teams.
When Entis, when they know that there is a pretty high chance that they will have chicken dinner, they turn that into 100%. They make those risky but perfect plays. They can get maximum kills, and they don't overextend too much. It could have been somewhat of an overextend with Under, but there was always a backup with Indigo. So 2-2, getting a lot of angle covered by the other two from the compound was huge. And OG and Entis, it was mostly just a cleanup. Of course, MCG, they did not go down without a fight. They certainly had the firepower, but because they were sort of from the outer circle, it was easier for Entis to read.
Yeah, and Under gets 5 kills in this one, and you're seeing why he was such a valued player for Entis to pick up during the offseason after PGC last year, because he is one of the best fraggers in Korea. When I did an interview right after PGC when I got back to Korea with an esports magazine here, and they asked me who I thought, if I could make a dream team of 4 players, who was on it at that time. And Under was already in there. He hadn't even moved over to OGN yet. And I was just like, no, I think Under is one of the most underrated players in the world. And and now we're finally seeing, with the right team, he is just so good.
And Entis, 24 points in a match from a single match of Erangel. They have to be all the way up there now in first place. MGG still 13 points, not bad. I think they caught up all the way near Tiamba, because Tiamba only having 14th place, 1 point from this match.
Yikes. That's a big yikes. Big yikes for Tiamba. Yeah, I think MCG is going to be real close to Tiamba right now. Indeed, 1 point behind. 1 point behind. But on the top, with the first team to crest 100 kills, is OG and Entis.
25 points away, if my math is correct, and under top 3, Fearlu Ghibli with 22 points away, so we're seeing some big gap, but between first and fourth, 50-point gap. So it has to be, by now, about the top 3. And we can still talk about like top 5, but I think it's slowly moving away from the other teams.
I think you're absolutely right. It may be top 6, but 60 points is a
That's
lot
huge.
in 5
That's
games.
huge.
I mean, it'd take one of the best rounds you've ever seen. Just one of the best performances ever in PUBG history at this point. I think you're absolutely right. I think at this point, top 3 is about all you can really be considering, barring a miracle.
Yep, that 41.1% is slowly moving away from Tiamba. They're moving down step by step. Wow.
It's been nuts, guys. Stay tuned. Our final game of the day coming up here after a short break. PUBG continues.
Hi, this is Annie of Weekly PCS. Did you enjoy watching the events in last week's PCS3? Now that we only have 1 week left, here are last week's highlights to get you caught up for the final week of PCS3. In Asia, Tiamba Esports finished week 2 and first on the leaderboard. Their play reminded me of their performance at Charity Showdown earlier this year. Tiamba was fighting back and forth with OG and Entus from Korea for the top spot. At the end of day 4, Tiamba was Asia's first place team in the second week of PCS3. OG and Entus is still showing stable performance. However, if they lean into their explosive performance more, they definitely could be a team with a good chance of winning. Asia is highly contested and showing the fiercest competition among the 4 regions. The top 8 teams all scored over 100 points. Genji, the champion of PGC 2019, is still in 9th place, but fans saw a shining moment in Day 4 Match 1 when they scored a perfect chicken dinner, a throwback to the good old days. Erangel Ghibli and 4AM are still bumping into each other sometimes, but both remain in the top 5, showing potential to win this event. Competition is more intense than ever in Asia. Which team will be crowned the PCS3 Asia champion? Let's see what happened in North America in Week 2. Guadalajara Gaskins showed remarkable performance, earning 106 points in the second week. They quickly moved up to second place. In the last match of Day 4, Gaskins got 18 kill points and the chicken dinner, widening the gap with Oath, who sits in 3rd place. This team might sound new, but Nikus and Honey Badger have each played in the OC and NA regions, while Bostic is a veteran player who has participated in PGI 2018. Sonics, of course, is flaunting their consistency. They almost matched the same amount of points as their Week 1 performance, proving them to be a steady team. The trust from PUBG Esports fans shows since Sonics currently has the most votes so far among all 4 regions in Pick'em Challenge. There's only a 25-point difference between Sonics and Guadalajara Gaskins, which is very close for the last week of PCS3. Can Guadalajara Gaskins stop Sonics from winning 2 consecutive championships? Also, can Shutakill and Oath show us their last burst of energy? Make sure to check out the final week. In APAC, Vietnam's top dog LG Divine held their lead for the second week. However, they weren't as explosive as they were in the first week. LG Divine won 5 chicken dinners in Week 1, but were eliminated in the early stages a lot during the second week. Buriram United Esports and Fury are chasing right behind Divine. I think I saw this happen in PCS too. Buriram United Esports is a team that has always been in top 3 throughout PCS events. In the second week, they've been overperforming and have the momentum of winning 2 consecutive chicken dinners for the last 2 matches. Will they finally seek a chance to take the throne? Fury lost the first place in PCS2 APAC due to an official tie ruling. They're not the team who always shows explosive performance in matches, but rather play smart, stacking up points to maintain high ranks. If they can win more matches though, they will be more likely to win the championship. Let's not forget Division X Gaming, who clutched many great plays with long case support, and Sharper Esports, mostly consisting of former Golden Cat members, who are both following closely. Let's see which team will win the championship in APAC. How was the second week in Europe? Europe, as expected, is a very intense region. Digital Athletics, Tornado Energy, and Northern Lights are still in the top 3 teams in Week 2, even though their rankings have shifted slightly. Team Liquid has put in the effort to rise the ranks and compete for the lead in second week. Digital Athletics is showing amazing performance so far. It's a team that breezed through the open qualifier and they have a great potential. They enjoy sending themselves on tricky situations, but they also stack up points steadily and have finally topped the list. Tornado Energy, who finished first in Week 1, was briefly knocked to 4th place during Day 4, but rebounded after a 16-kill chicken dinner victory in Match 3. Northern Lights have been showing really stable performance for the entire 2 weeks. Even though they slipped a bit on Day 4, the gap between first place is only 10 points, not a lot. Who will be the winner of the last PCS of 2020 in Europe? We won't know until the last day is here. PCS3 has only 1 week left, and this is how the Pick'em Challenge looks so far. Are they teams that you've picked? The last week of PCS3 starts on November 19th. Check out which teams will become champions in 4 regions. I'll be back with the next weekly PCS. Bye!
야, 우리 쪽이 나을 것 같은데? 그쪽이 낫나?
그래도 이런 라인 풀어도 되잖아.
오케이, 글로 가자.
가자.
우리 쪽에 다 풀 수 있다.
이거 빠르게 선택하자.
우리 쪽에 가자.
그냥 이거 해. 위에서 해, 위에서.
니네
남쪽
왜 안
힘들어.
당겼잖아.
여기 집은 무적집이라 막는 것만 진짜 신경
그리고 네 번째 원이라서 잘 해보자, 알겠지?
합류해야 돼.
지금 4-4-2지.
하나 기절.
나이스.
2번 핑.
여기 잡았어, 4번은.
탁해실 수 있다.
차 확인.
자, 가져봐. 우리 이제 장한이 형 폭탄 냅두고 하자. 지금 안 돼. 천천히 해봐.
나 가운데 그냥 치코리 타줘.
하긴. 야, 우측으로
빨간 다시야 맞아.
왼쪽 끝에 하나.
라스트 여기야 라스트.
빨간 대시 기절. 라스트.
천천히 해. 천천히 해.
수영아 나 다 보여.
1-4번 라인.
우측으로 가봐.
야, 연막 쳐주지 마.
하나 기절.
달린 거 기절.
연막
나
쳐주지 마.
왼쪽으로 갈게요. 연막 안 해.
연막 왼.
Day 5 of PCS3 Asia is about to wrap up. And I almost called it PCS3 Korea because today has been Korea. Entis, VLG, and Entis are your winners and your damage dealers. Everybody on Entis is in there.
And we have top 5, so we cannot have any more of Entis. And Lingdu is still there, MCG. They put up a pretty good fight against Entis. Not just that, they cleaned up most of the players from that eastern side and also from those cute compounds from that south of the field. Pretty good game so far, but those four on the those two on the left, two on the right, they look godlike right now. Entis, can anyone stop them? Pochinki start, Gaka near Gaka field finish. They barely moved. They barely moved 1.5 kilometers their rotation.
Yeah, they put up that 2-2 split, and then they came together when they were forced to because of the circle, and they made a perfect movement. They made the exact correct decision. They rolled the dice correctly. MCG, all the credit in the world to them. They played a great round. They took the other great position. Basically, Entis had either the winning position or the second place position, or potentially also the winning position. You never know if they're over where MCG was.
So what you're saying is that if you're any other team other than Entis, you should always follow their rotation, right?
Yeah.
If they leave, you just take their place. Then you at least get a place maybe nearby around Entis.
It worked for Peril that one day where they made what felt like an Entis-like move and then got right next to Entis, and they ended up with the chicken dinner. So yeah, I think Entis right now really, their ideas on how to approach the game are very, very high, and we've seen it for the last couple of years, and now we're seeing them reach their final form, belligerently consistent. OG and Entis has always been here for years at these international events, constantly competing, constantly coming up just short. And now is this the time?
And is it finally the time? Is it finally the time? If they get one more chicken dinner, I think they might just run away by playing a little bit passive on the final day, because the gap might actually be too big for the other teams to catch back. But still, with 5 more matches, I think a lot can be done within the top. I think we're really talking about top 5 or top 6 by now.
Yeah, at this point it's narrowing. It's there's just not enough games left. There's not enough points available. I mean, even if you put up a 34-point infantry like round, like they did at PCS2, man, I just it's a lot to overcome. And I mean, if Entis wins another one, I think that's just all she wrote. I mean, that you might as well just go ahead and start etching the name into the trophy.
Yeah, I think we could actually get that into Steve because no one's stopping that from Pochiki, as it's just way too easy for them to make a rotation towards the west. The field, they just have control most of the time. They know that Genji and Tiamba is going to fight for that below Mount Everest towards the western beach side. If they want to move up to the eastern side near the Potato Mountain, that's also pretty easy because 4 a.m. is actually making a somewhat slower rotation in Erangel every single time. So easier for Entis to make any sort of rotation. Will anyone actually challenge them in that city or stop them from making a big rotation? Like we have seen from Infantry, from Miramar, but no one else is actually blocking too much of a pathing from Entis, to be honest.
Yeah, when it comes to Pachinki, you kind of just have to hot drop it. If you're gonna try to stop somebody, unless there's a hard shift, if there's a military circle, infantry might attempt it. That I could see that happening again, where infantry, because Entis usually makes an early rotation down to the military base, usually, not always.
Yeah, from the left bridge near the gas station, where infantry is going to have that 1-on-1 split.
Yeah.
So I think you might be just right, or Entis, they always find some kind of solution.
They're so creative. They're so good on the fly. They're so smart. I mean, you're seeing high-level plays from all of their members. Under there doing a fantastic job holding down a flank all by himself.
Ooh,
out in a field. That ain't
I
easy.
would never do that in my life.
No.
Like I would always be the one staying.
I'm
on
proning
the
in the grass. I'm taking my backpack off, and I'm hoping nobody sees me. Leave me alone.
You keep me safe, okay? I'll be on the back. You go. Okay, I'm not the one going all the way in front. I mean, you have the best shooter in the world right now, Indigo, right next to you, but still to be up front against MCG, not against any other team. A full squad of MCG against Africa Freaks. That was also crazy. Like under, he was down one time, but I think Indigo just got him back on control.
I think so, yeah. I mean, regardless, it's looking so good for Entis. Everything is like next level right now for them. They're playing it. I think they finally just kind of said to themselves, this is it. We're taking this. This is our tournament. This is our time. We'll see, though. There's still 5 games left. You never know. And I'm already starting to think about, like what the future looks like for PUBG Esports for some of these teams from Asia with these drop spots that they've been fighting over. And then I like instantly my mind is now drifting towards Pachinki for Entis. That's Team Liquid and Sonic's territory. Razak is actually DA territory. They're starting to look really good. What if they start to keep consistency? All of these teams are kind of, when I think about the future, I start to really find this to be a really interesting situation that when we're able to get back to this stuff.
In the future, and also if we have different teams from different regions, like different Chinese teams can also run into Entis if we go into next year of PCS.
Yeah, SMG,
Yeah, that it can totally be possible, and Genji might actually totally run into Tiamba again if they collide. I think there will be at least a round where Genji will put up a fight. Maybe not today, maybe the final day of Erangel if they want to really go for that big fight.
Yeah, when things are kind of more settled, when we maybe kind of know what the results are going to be one way or another, and then Genji might give it a go. Genji might just give it a go right now because Genji needs points, and if you just win a 4-0 hot drop, that's a good way to propel yourself to a huge, huge amount of points.
Yeah, but against Tiamba, 4-0 hot drop, I think you're living in the dreams.
Oh, yeah.
You really want to get that
I'm not saying it's likely. I'm not saying it's likely. I mean, you're you're praying for that, that ace on the river with that one, but
you're basically looking for quad kill with a single grenade, and I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
No, I don't expect it. It used to be that Genji pretty handily won the scrims against Tianba in South George, but then at the actual matches, it was much different. Tianba played very, very well when we were on the big stages, when the cameras and the lights were on, so to speak, even though this year that hasn't been the case, that everybody's been at home. But, I think, I don't know. If I'm Genji, I'm torn between trying to fight them or not right now.
Yeah, that is going to be the big question if they ever go for that challenge or not. I mean, with the Western Circle, that the plan B for Genji certainly popped out. Okay, let's grab some early guns. Even before Tiamba totally moved out, they were about to get into the vehicles. Genji were already using that big bridge into South George, going towards that western coast. Love that early rotation. I think that should be coming out a lot more in the remaining match, not just today, even into tomorrow. I think Genji should be looking for much earlier rotation from not just Erangel, they have done that from Picado also. So certainly loving week 3 play from Genji so far.
And I feel like Tianba gets kind of put in a weird situation here where I think they should maybe make a faster rotation, or they should have gone up to the top of Everest, or you know what I mean, like to the top of that mountain, because they got stuck at hospital around that area basically, and then they're in kind of weird positions because most likely that circle is going to keep going south.
And sometimes you expect that you have time, and the moment you hear Honira's vehicle going on top of the mountain, I think they were sort of caught and said, okay, side of the right side of the eastern side of the mountain is already controlled. Let's just go towards the hospital and then try to push down from that moment on, because they know that Genji is going to the western coast. And likely they will have no one from the back. But Tiamba, they were also caught coming into the field line, and they couldn't really do too much after that, as Fields, you know, the first one to take the those little compounds, just like Entus.
Yep.
That's basically a win for you.
Yeah, these compounds become just unbelievably valuable. It's like beachfront real estate.
Yes.
Yeah, right in Manhattan.
I don't even know how expensive it is. It is expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive. It's definitely boardwalk on Monopoly there when you get those compounds. So yeah, it is hard to make those early rotations or those early movements, but I feel like if you're Tianba, either get to the top of the mountain and make your decisions from there, or get somewhere more center, because you have a pretty favorable circle.
Yep, and that was somewhat forced by Ghibli, and as they also had the chicken dinner, I think they're feeling a little bit better, moving out slightly earlier compared to the other weeks, and that rotation has been working okay when you're moving north, but when you're trying to move south, there's 4 a.m. There's Entis, so I think that's some other homework they still have to deal with when there's a south circle. I think we might be seeing that solution very soon from Ghibli.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think Ghibli is playing their best PUBG maybe ever, as well as Entis. I mean, we're seeing some of the best PUBG from Korea here today. So we are ready for the final game of the day, guys. Erangel, one more to go. Starting out over Severny, heading down to Novo, going a little more easterly this time. Instead of cutting across the middle, we're heading north to south with this plane path, and going west, all eyes on Georgia Pool.
Yep, Tiamba Genji right next to each other, and might actually see some vehicle fights, as we literally have two teams bumping into each other with the parachutes.
I feel like we could see a fist fight here. They're so close to each other.
Yeah, Griffin actually going all the way towards the west of Severny. They actually made a early parachute down.
Yeah, Zarki is a position for Griffin that they'll take if they have to. If there isn't a lot of other options. If they can't get over to Primorsk or wherever they want to go, they will do Zarki. But they're not usually happy about it. They'd much rather be in Primorsk.
So this is parachute time for Tiamba, and Genji, they have vehicles. Oh, talking vehicles.
Uh-oh, Fever Drop here with infantry and GEX potentially. Infantry's ahead. Yep, they're going to have to drop out in the open a bit. Let's see if there's any vehicle runovers, but there is the shack here. Now this shack does blow up.
Boom. And I don't think he's going to survive too long. OPGG getting easy.
Oh my god.
Good control there, though.
Oh my god, Alfaka with the Bison gets a double, looking for a triple here. Is that a crowbar? Is he winding up with a crowbar?
He's about to throw it out the window, out the door the moment he sees him.
Oh, CC. There's nowhere to go. And if you're Alfaka, you could just wait.
Yes, and wait for your teammates too. And actually, GEX losing the vehicle. Longsker getting that kill. Easily done against GEX.
He steps out, he throws it, it doesn't connect.
Pick it up!
Picking it up.
No way, Jose.
Now, GEX, we saw a good game from them. Game number 2 today. They played very, very well in that game. One of the best we've seen from them, maybe ever. And here, not the start you want to see. The playing path a little too crooked, and they're not really able to recover.
Certainly not the game you want to have. That's the last game of the day. But OPGG is going to wrap up. Pretty good kill point. 3 in total there. And replay of this run over.
This is
the last game?
Yeah, infantry. There's just this move by Under. I can't remember in a competitive match seeing this.
He's crazy.
Somebody's probably like, oh, somebody did it. And I'm like, well, okay, you know, I didn't see. That's so smart from Under, and it's risky, but it worked.
I think Summer was knocked at that moment, so understanding that there will be less focus from MCG was a smart decision.
Plus, you have Sung Jong on the roof to kind of
yes.
cover you and tell you what's going on. So, I think it's really, really smart there by Under. I mean, just a bajillion IQ play there. And then Kale, we've talked about how much he's played well, even though he hasn't been putting up the same stats as Under and Indigo. He's been there when they need him.
Oh, Gen G. Engines off.
Are they out of gas?
No.
No. I'm joking. I know you can cut
I know gas is expensive, but making a run here. Will this finally be STM? But I think there's almost... They're still looting. They're still looting.
This is so interesting. You're right. They have to be looting. And Onyx has basically nothing. He has a micro Uzi and no armor.
And a DP.
And I don't know. This is...
Oh, yes. This is what we wanted to see. Oh, but Ming's barrel. Oh, barrel. That's not a good fight.
No. Not unless an Onyx can get into point-blank range with that micro Uzi. That's the only way he has kind of an advantage. But at this point, I assume that the gear in terms of the armor and the helmet's already there for Tianba as well. So Onyx is going to have to get those quick. This is a really interesting move here by Gen G.
Starting to get some poke into South George as Linshu already moved out totally away from the zone. It's just 2 members left, and also Luren all the way onto the top of the mountain. So that's exactly why, the reason why Gen G, the two best men, Pia and Onyx, trying to get some action. As talking about action, 4 AM, they don't know how to stop.
No, they do not. This is the second game in a row where we've seen them crash a compound early. VLG reinforcements trying to arrive. Lou around the corner, but there's fire on his right. He comes through the window, burning. I think he's going to be able to get the heals off just in time. Forever takes a whole bunch of damage as well. Grenades starting to be thrown by VLG. Let's see if they connect with anything. That one right in front of Forever's face.
Yep. Ghibli just makes outside of that compound. Now Lambu's going to join the fight from the side. Hikari just coming in hot. So 4 AM could not really deliver early kills. That was a delicious timing attack for 4 AM, but good backup from VLG so far. But this fight, I think it just goes on.
I mean, it's a good hold here by Deva and Spear to get Lambu and the reinforcements in time. Now, this gets a little weird. This house, not the best to fight out of for 4 Angry Men. This house sucks.
Knowing the circle, first phase, a little too aggressive from 4 AM, I would say. I don't think it's totally worth to have this big of a fight already into the game, only 5 minutes in, as it's too late now to back up for both teams.
God, if he gets that in and gets a knock. Okay, he just came up short with that one. I think it clipped the top window lid there just enough to keep it short from where Forever meant to go. But this guy's so good, he can throw grenades in without like even being able to see the angles. Over to Genji. Genji's PO with the DP.
It's happening.
Oh my God, M200 and Mings just got to be like, what in the world? How did these guys come down here, and how did we not hear it?
Yep, engine off, and the entire squad is now coming. M200, the alone Linshu is actually making a way back from all the way top. Luren not coming down from the mountain.
Oh, Pio steps out with an open angle headshot in the finish here. Now there is return fire from the mountain. Luren has an angle on a Pio, but Pio's able to get to the fence and get himself hidden.
Ah, that's gonna leave a mark now.
That is definitely a, all right, this is our turn, Tianba. You may have got us previously, but now we're here stepping up to try to reclaim our territory.
Sweet revenge. That was Gen G. I would, like, it doesn't matter what happens in this round anymore. I would just sleep with my feet stretched out all the way. Like, we've got Tianba finally.
It is a nice moral victory potentially for Gen.G. There still are 2 left for Tianba who are watching, and we'll see if they try to make Gen.G pay at all. But Gen.G has a little bit of time. The first blue, you can wait it out. You can loot up for a while.
And despite surprising 4 AM, I think they are also feeling that if they push a little too far right now, might be running out of resources, but they're also using a lot of resources already.
Yeah, Hikari's trying to get grenades in the window. Finally, one makes it on in. Is it going to be good enough to get crazy? Nope. Splashes out towards the front door there. As this one's slowed up. There's a 2-2 here for each one in terms of the compounds. There's two on each side. But it is tough to get these angles to work. There's a lot of stuff in the way, and the angles, there's just like thin windows to see each other from.
Just thin windows, and because of these solid fences right around the houses, if you just peek out, and if you don't exactly know where all 4 members are, the moment you peek out from the corner, you are going to be dead. So that's exactly the reason why 4 AM's not really making a big push. I don't think both teams has 100% idea where the entire squad is.
I don't think either of them wants to push. It's really hard to push either side. So I wouldn't be too surprised if eventually one of them just 4 AM just backs out if it goes east or something like that.
Yes, I think a lot of their vehicles were actually shot down. The tires should be shot down from Destination Gaming White because they were getting some shot into the side angle.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, Detonation Gaming White does have that split on the Yaz fields there. Everybody else is just kind of centering up, just waiting. We had a good start from Gen.G and Tianma. Now we do shift pretty hard to the east, so this is tough now. Yeah, for 4 AM, if those vehicles are, in fact, completely useless, they have a really difficult situation. VLG, on the other hand, I would assume has kept some vehicles up.
Yeah, on the back, I think there are some motorcycles, but look at the movement on the map right now. Every single team, except for these 2 right now on the screen, are basically diving into those anthills. MCG's got a pretty nice spot, the Sky Garden, right on top. Afrika Freaks taking care of most of the mansion side, so this is going to be the big rotation. But we still do have it. Oh, you have to be actually challenging.
Uh-oh, Dangjae's here, trying to hold it down. The grenade's on the ground. Is it going to catch anything? Yes, there is something. Oh, that's actually, I think, Summer. Okay, Lycanon steps up. Dangjae down. The rest of Afrika looking to get throwables inside on top of New Happy, but as of right now, it is only Summer from MCG who's got a knock.
As Afrika, I think they wanted to spread out a little bit further, not knowing that New Happy would challenge this early on. Still a good push as MCG, one of the best spots in the circle right now. I think they will be staying in until phase 4, at least phase 4 or 5.
Oh yeah, the Sky Garden where MCG is just so good for so many reasons. You can see everything basically around you within like a kilometer, and yeah, you can shoot at everything around you. You have a lot of potential to pick up extra kills.
Yeah, because of those compounds, somewhat not too far away, but about like 40-50 meters out. You know that there's going to be 2-2 splits. Some teams will challenge. It's possible with the next circle if it's like dead center. I think some teams will challenge because it's so high up. Sometimes you just cannot get the leading shots into the vehicles.
Yeah, particularly that northern compound, you'll see teams make a go at it from there. It's a little bit easier to do just because of what teams can see you while you're making that push and also the angles you have to attack that compound as well. Meanwhile, over on the kind of western central area, just chilling out, watching what's going on around them, getting ready to make their maneuver. If there's a hard shift, I wouldn't be too surprised to see Entis make a dive.
Oh, it's been a while, and Hikari sneaks up on the side, all the way across the road. Yeah, spots at least a few members, so good information.
Yeah, a scar and a barrel here for Hikari. So yeah, he can at least get the information, and if and when, most likely 4AM has to leave, he's in a really nice spot. He's going to pop it open, gets the head onto Godby. Godby takes a little more damage. Yeah, not quite getting that knock.
I think if he got the knock, that's the go sign for VLG immediately. Now spotted. Not exactly knowing where Hikari is going to, but But because Ikari has a lot of angles to move from, he knows that he's safe from the back. There shouldn't be anyone with the next circle popping right now.
Another molly being thrown by Lambu. Crazy continues to hide in the corner because that's fine. It's safe there.
Yeah, safe. Well, in the top, you can just go in and be pretty much safe against anything. As enters, again, 2-2 split towards the western side of the circle. And we have dead center MCG.
Oh boy! If the circle keeps going to MCG, it's a good chance they end up winning this with a bunch of kills because you could really reach out. You could really make a lot of teams pay for the rotations around you. Now my question is somebody like Pero going to make a dive in towards the Skyguard and attempt to either nestle up on the side of it or just take the compound?
Yeah, sometimes you can just stop right below the compound. Here's the fight now, finally from Spear. DAY5 getting some shots in. And Xiaolu goes down again.
Yeah, this is good stuff here from Spear and DAY5. And Lambu now getting involved. Takes forever down.
4-0?
Oh, Crazy's trying to hold it. He at least gets one. That's going to be not much else, though, because now Indigo's peppering shots in the bathroom, the only refuge.
Entus is also shooting at them from about 400 or 500 meters out. Oh, Crazy, he's got to come up at least maybe one more kill. It's going to be hard. Trying to get that perfect timing with the stun.
Yeah, whoops. Oh, no. There's a fence there.
Can always happen.
Yeah, the top of that fence does have some...
You're not a baseball player,
no,
so I understand.
That's true. These guys play video games, not sports. Stun is in. Now is it going to be go for VLG? Another stun going to bounce through. Crazy is in the bathroom, though, so he's not getting stunned up. You can see the stun animation isn't coming through. They know he's in there. The door shredded. 4 a.m. as well. Done. 15th place to end the day.
All from Ikari being on the side. Striking at the perfect moment. 4 a.m. was up for a pretty good challenge. But because of that, now VLG is forced to play Edge. And they would have loved to be in the circle already. But they were just kept outside because of 4 a.m. At least they win this big duel. Big time. Losing one member, I always say, with 4 kills, losing one, not too bad.
And it's really interesting to watch VLG operate today. A lot of really good flanks.
Yo.
All right.
They're fighting.
Yeah, he's here at the museum. They have to. They don't have a choice, does Gen G. It's still 4 for them, and now it is Dumbo trying to hold the side, and at the front door knocking is Gen G's Loki and others, as they're going to readjust. They didn't like that front door option. It didn't really pan out. Now they're kind of bouncing around, trying to figure out exactly where Dumbo is, seeing if they can catch him. He's trying to veer off to the side, and they're going to come right around. He was holding the line, and Onyx, quick movement to get back. Dumbo returning fire here, doing it, but not getting the knock.
Yeah, that teamwork. One peeks out immediately right after your teammate peeks out from the back. Always keeping the damage, but no knock, Gen G. Just the basics are on another level compared to a BGG.
I mean, it was the right idea by Dumbo to hold the trigger down, but yeah, you're right. It's too much. You know, there's just too much damage. There's too many hit points available that you have to take to really win that situation.
And the next circle, actually quite up north. Catching some part of Yasnaya near the police station. So K7, which is the right... Is it towards the... I think east is a better decision from my point of view, but still... Yeah, going down the intel right in the middle can also be a pretty good decision for K7.
I think you're I'm watching Entus really closely because I think even they don't know what to do with this circle.
It's hard because they were
This one's really hard.
They were somewhat forced by the other teams rotating all the way south. They were delayed, not too far.
Because, I mean, Griffin has the dip. You know, Sky Garden's occupied by 2 teams now. There's the forest over by Mansion, I guess. That's kind of open, but you can't see that. What are they going to do?
Really hard.
This dip is available, I guess. The other dip.
You can go right in the middle or toward the eastern side of the police station, just out of Yasnaya, where you won't be caught. Okay, Enter's actually going for the central dip. I think they will stop,
Yep.
Around here or a little bit further in.
This one's not easy to hold, and here comes Gen G right behind them. Gen G, if they saw them go in, Gen G might just pounce. Although, okay, they do come off at the last second.
Okay, Tiamba moving in at the same time, right next to Gen G.
Oh my god, this is an absolute mess. All right, Onyx is down from Indigo, but it's going to be under going down. Sungjong finding Aqua 5. Loki gets taken down by Lockslock from K7. And this is all of a sudden 3 teams trying to control a very small piece of territory.
And Entus still survives. Pio, the only one left. But a nice grenade can actually take the entire squad out. Tiamba still right on. I think this is exactly where Genji wanted to pull through, but lost so many members against Entus. Now K7's trying to get a piece of it. Griffin even pulled out near Entus.
Yeah, the throwable's just a bit too far there for Pio, and he's not able to finish the job on any members of Entus. They're somehow, some way going to get both those reses through safely, get their teammates back up to full health. So the early movement by Entus just fast enough to get them ahead of the other teams.
Yeah, and while the other fights were going on, Pero finally pushing into MCG Sky Garden. As they're actually actively pushing, as Mamu always looking for a shot from the side.
Well, OPGG, you can maybe just barely hear those vehicles as they wrap around this. I don't think they're going to try to fight this at all.
Oh, but it's Tank.
All right, Tank. Let's see what you got this time.
Tank with the barrel. I mean, you gotta be scared.
He's been so good, dude. AO now tries to cut across this. Is going to do it himself. Indigo gets run over by Silky? Eh? What in the heck?
But he's safe.
He's safe.
In the little dip here. Going to use a few more smoke. Oh, but being shot down.
Oh boy. Are they going to be able to get him here? It is Sungjong who gets knocked from Machao. It's Detonation Gaming White from over in the police station area of Yasnaya. Indigo and Sungjong both going to get rezzed? My goodness. Entus just narrowly avoiding disaster again.
Yep, but Indigo finally does go down from on top of that police station. It's pretty high, and you can get a pretty good line of sight until like 250 or 300 meters out around the area. So DGW should be picking into OJ and Entus a little bit more.
Yeah, a brief moment of respite for Entus as Detonation Gaming White has to focus their attention to VLG. Up in the top, Pio continues to prone it out and wait. And Spear, only one left for Ghibli, and he is a field, and it's not full of dreams. It's probably full of bullets here pretty soon.
Oh, Detonation Gaming White should be actually infantry covering the shots up for Spear. He might actually be caught, and K7 might actually think they're actually same teams.
Longsker might have no idea Spear is there and might get taken down. A point into the Ghibli bag for them. Tanky now. Lambu is finished off by Longsker. They're instantly rezzed and instantly knocked. The vehicle, fortunately for Tianba, bounces the other way, and Pio is seeing if he can finish the job. And he gets them very low, but isn't able to get that final kill.
Yeah, Pio making sure he's keeping things under control, looking for these skill points, and at the same time looking around against Entus because he knows that Entus will be pushing. That's a good nade to finish off Genji in 13th place.
Sungjong is rezzed and gets another point, furthering the lead for Entus. Every point here so big. Those insurance points so nice for Entus. Now, multi-circle gaming's Tanky. He's popping some shots and hasn't really connected much with his SLR. Now, Lin Shu, he has a buggy, and that's not the best. As Under now knocked, spins around Kale. You can continue to do those rezzes, by the way. If you guys didn't know, you can actually move while you're being rezzed.
Oh yes, only the person being rezzed, as he was also being shot down by MCG. But Pero versus MCG, that has to be done in the next phase, or else I don't think they have too many vehicles to escape from. Yeah. Meanwhile, Under, it's actually amazing to still have 3 members alive here.
Crazy Sam just picks up another kill on the side with Afrika and Sun Sisters fighting over to the east, but right now we're keeping our eyes really focused on our top teams. This is the way we want to observe these moments, really make sure we don't miss anything.
Lin Shu actually pulled right near Entus.
Oh
After Pio going down, he understood that there's some more space he could use for. Always looking for those timing to strike into Entus.
Yeah, he's so smart, Lin Shu, one of the best in the business, constantly bringing to Tianba, really nice finishes. And Entus is still holding on. They've had a lot of knocks in the bag, and that's going to be problematic as the game goes on, potentially. We'll see. K7 up north. Infantry does get in. Spear fell somewhere. K7 still has it. Entus is going to be holding the southwest along with Tianba in the south.
Yeah, not bad, but a lot of teams will be challenging Entus from the south. K7 should have some line of sight, but there are lots of angles where it can be covered by the terrain near where Entus is. But the fight has to be on this spot. It's got to be either Para or MCG.
It's been building up for quite some time, and Pero is hanging out outside of the compound. MCG, you know, they have the cover of the compound available, but that means they sacrifice the circle position potentially. Oh, good up and over. Lingdu 1. Lingdu looking for 2 with that AK sprays. Not catching there with that follow-up.
Yeah, but Summer goes down again against XCDs, pushing all along the line. He will leave from the left, but XCD responds.
He's so good. Ooh, Lin Shu steps up, finds Sungjang. Sungjang's in trouble because the rest of Entus is a bit far away. Now he's throwing throwables in the faces, trying to keep the other members from going for the res.
But a little too far as Lin Shu trying to strike and get a few more kills. As the still fight goes on from the side, MCG just tank left. And Pero, it seems like they want to escape. There's not much time as the circle's coming in now.
There is a big battle going on up on the northwest, but there's more important things happening in the center. Detonation Gaming White takes infantry down. OGN under NKL. Sungjang finally succumbing to the pressure. Lin Shu watches the fighting between Pero and MCG, seeing if he can pick anything up. Tanky has disengaged from that fight.
The moment you want to push into Entus, K7 strikes from the side and says, oh no, I can't really push up to that hill, as a lot of the other teams from that eastern side will be cleaned up. Griffin from the top after seeing Pero sort of weakened by MCG, going to take the entire squad out.
Yeah, now Griffin kind of has to fight Entus. That's just the way the circle is going to force it. There isn't many other options they have. It is going to be Tianba and Entus in front of them, as there is a bit of a volcano, mini volcano looking thing here with that smoke in the middle. Kind of makes me think of that. No lava here though, this isn't Paramo.
And Entus is sort of being like a guard against Lin Shu right now, because Griffin, they are trying to surround on the... They have pretty good ideas. 7 teams left. And that is the point where you want to throw everything in and KO.
God. So good right now. Understands up, but it's the wrong time. Juanita was there. He had already knocked KL. He finishes under as well. And just goes out, but some placement points and a few kills. Continues to give them a little bit more of a lead until Tianba, who is now still in this, could potentially catch up a bit.
Yeah, certainly a big rotation, and as K7 will not be keeping the next circle, but they know that they have to go for that fight, a big fight against DGW. Finally, a chicken dinner might be possible away from China, away from Korea.
Well, if Griffin can finish off Lin Shu without suffering any losses, they have a pretty good ability to keep that street occupied, keep the other teams busy over there, and then maybe tear them apart as they're probably forced across it. We don't know for sure yet, as Machao and C is getting it done onto Savior. Lin Shu now watching Griffin, who is trying to see if they can get over. He has a pretty good edge, and that fire actually obscures things a bit, but that stun is right in his face. He steps up, tries to see if anybody is coming over for Griffin. Nobody home, and then now finally Asura is going to get the job done.
Asura comes a clutch. Still Griffin with 3 members up. K7, they had Zendan all the way back into the compounds. Well, couldn't really bring the firepower on top of the hill against DGW right here, as they used up a lot of resources coming down from Yasnaya, as now Griffin just on fire.
Yeah, they have a great angle. That is Detonation Gaming White lined up because of that hill in front of them and the circle behind them. K7 on the other side might be able to wait a bit longer. It's going to be a Dacia here that Detonation Gaming White opts to get into, but Asura once again has a good angle down on top of it, stepping up in front, getting good shots, but no knocks.
Yeah, that's a pretty good spot. Yeah, across the road now, Machao. If Machao can also cross, that will be a pretty good uphill challenge against Griffin.
By the way, Kendes is still alive. Way over on the eastern side. I had just been so focused on this western side, I just noticed him standing over there. I'm like, why is somebody at Sun Sister still alive? It is, in fact, Kendes who takes some shots, as I mentioned his name. And smokes and vehicles are the fortifications available for Detonation Gaming.
As K7 is still alive, about to face Kendes right into that eastern side, all the way smoked up. I think they 100% no. Just keeping yourself in the circle, but Griffin did move towards the south, understanding all the teams will be next to the road, fighting against each other. I think they want to have an easy win.
Oh boy, Kendes is getting shot from 2 different angles. Griffin, oh, he gets one knock, isn't able to get another. vehicle explodes, but he was already done. Juanita, in the meantime, gets a bunch of damage on Buyo as he crosses back into the smoke to try to get the res, and that's going to put Detonation Gaming White in a better position. Maybe not the best, because they're still outside of the circle.
But still going all the way across, Asura jumping, making sure that Detonation Gaming White doesn't push too far. The spot Malofa right there, so they have a pretty nice understanding when they're pushing from.
Asura with a good spray there, knowing that that was going to be the angle that Detonation Gaming White was going to have to back off of. Tuhart is on side duty, watching K7 from the dip, and he has a decent little angle there. It's going to take some smokes or something, but instead Gokuri actually from Detonation Gaming White now sees some pretty good angles himself onto Zennan and gets the knock.
Yeah, it's going to be about the 3v3 right here in this small hill, as Machao's right in front. If he gets a knock, the moment you get a knock, I think Griffin has to really either retreat or go for the second place finish.
Ooh, and Melifo, yep, he's going to be knocked.
Good open angle.
Yep, Gokuri from Asura. Buyo is over there shooting as well, but it is Machao. He's got Asura, and Tuhart and Juanita. It is going to be Tuhart up over Detonation Gaming White is out in third. That's going to send K7 in with their Dacia, trying to take the best position in the circle.
Lovely timing. Asura will be rezzed, but Tuhart getting in position with the other two men right now. Pretty good push. As timing is not bad.
Yeah, the circle is now pushing in Griffin, though, and they're on the edge. They're going to have to wrap more and more to their west. And you can see Buyo is trying to keep that under control, but Asura's up and over on a Buyo. Zennan gets Asura, though, in the trade. Now he prones down. Juanita is very hurt, so is Tuhart, but they're pushing up. No fear
Asura's
here
down
from Griffin. Zennan gets another knock. It's just Tuhart now versus Zennan. The stun up and over. Can Tuhart do this?
That's 2 HP, but using the medkit goes full HP back. 1v1. Zennan, can he finally pull it off? Sees Tuhart immediately. That's a shot. K7 Esports finally get their first chicken dinner of the tournament.
We've been waiting for it. The PML shows up. It's going to be K7 getting a win on the last game here for day number 5 of PCS3 Asia. And what a fun ending there with Detonation Gaming White, K7 and Griffin, teams that have been struggling, showing a good performance at the end of the day.
And they didn't really just stay in the compounds. They actively came out, had to deal with a lot of other teams, dealt with infantry along with DGW, had to push out DGW to the western side. So it wasn't like, of course, the circle did favor them. They did have the best 2 compounds, gathered in at the perfect timing. The pulling with the vehicle against Griffin, that was clutch, with just 2 men alive.
Huge movement there. That was a great call. The ability to think on your feet like that, still have that Dacia available to use as well. Where in the world was that hanging out? Because they went all the way over. They were fighting Detonation Gaming White way up on the northwestern side of all that. Wrapped all the way over and then came back in.
Yeah, they must have had another Dacia right behind the Dacia that we saw, blocking all those bullets coming from Griffin and also Tiamba and DGW. Great finish for K7. Finally a chicken away from Korea and China.
Yeah, and if you had on your bingo card a DP kill, well, congratulations, you can mark that one off. We saw it here with Pio, and this long fight between Ghibli and Forium felt like kind of a fight at the apartments, except away from the apartments. You know what I mean? That one felt like a bit of a grudge match.
Certainly, as it was actually Ghibli making an early rotation, which I did not expect to come out. In the last 2 days, 4 AM just challenged them into a duel, says, okay, bring it on. We can do whatever. Still, Tiamba is an amazing team, still with just 2 men alive. It feels like they still have a full squad. The control that they actually have, the control of space in those dips, it's amazing to watch.
No, they're really good. Lin Shu has just been a pleasure to watch this tournament. I can't say enough about how good he is and how good Tiamba is, as they are coming through with a 4th place finish, only 6 points. That's only 1 more point than Entis. So that's all the ground they can gain. Entis, good enough to add a few more points and not really allow that lead to be bitten into.
Yep, and also Multisoko Gaming down in 14th, only 2 points. So not such a great day for MCG at all, because they're always looking into fights, looking for some chicken dinner potential. But today, they were up against a lot of OG and Entis, and every single time they were brought down by the other teams.
It's just incredible to watch OGN play right now. They seem to be on another level. Even in a bad position, they still hang on. They still fight and claw for points.
I know.
I mean, I thought early on, I'm like, well, I mean, and to be fair, all it takes is like one good grenade from PO, and all of a sudden that's like Entis gone, but he wasn't able to connect, and they're able to get it through.
Yeah, that rotation into the dip with a full squad, we were looking at the minimap and saying, there's no compound. And they have to go find these dips, but even during the rotation, they could have lost a lot of members. But the pathing with those vehicles, that's on the next level for OG and Entis.
That's a really good point. It's the pathing to get there. Even if when you get there, it's not necessarily 100% safe, as in that circle, they didn't have a lot of good choices. There's a couple dips, and that's about it. And yeah, they still get there 4 strong, which is a big part of their success here. 24 points is going to separate them from Tianba going into the final day of PCS3 Asia.
And right behind Tianba, MCG, Ghibli's by 22 points, right below 3rd place. OPGG, not crazy far away, but compared to 1st place, that's like 59 points, right? If my math is correct. So that's, I think we're really talking top 3 by now. Maybe for Vierlu Ghibli. But for Angry Men, I thought they had a lot of chances because from watching streams, they were actively winning the 4v4 fights. But I think that confidence actually brought them down in the actual matches today. I thought they went into too many unnecessary duels that they had. They went against Miramar and also Erangel.
Yeah, and I think, you know, when you go up against teams like Ghibli who are incredibly patient, incredibly smart with their flanks, it can be tough because those teams aren't usually going to try those kind of things in scrims. They're going to save their good flanks for the tournament.
Yep, OPGG stepping up. Genji stepping up from, I believe, 9th to 7th. Not as bad.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I just thought that myself. I just noticed Genji climbed quite a bit today. I mean, to be fair, the points were extremely tight in the middle of all of this. Like, there were, what, 8 points separating, like, 4th to 11th or something
At
wild?
the beginning,
I
think it was 101 to 95.
Something
6 teams right in the middle.
Yeah, something just ridiculous. But it is not a bad day at all for Genji. They win, you know, they get a moral victory against Tianba.
Aha, that sneaky engine turn off.
Yeah.
Through the bridge. That was pretty
That was really smart. I love these creative ideas that players go. I mean, this is why I love PUBG Esports. These ideas that these players are able to come up with, because the world is yours. I mean, anything that's available to you is there.
So many things can happen with this many teams, with open ground. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
That's the best about what's something best about PUBG and not so good about PUBG at the same time. Sometimes it's hard, but anything can actually work if you just pull it off.
Embrace the craziness. That's always been my motto. Just embrace the crazy. So I think we're probably gonna have an interview with Entis today. Would be my guess.
Probably
Entis.
Very likely.
I think that's pretty likely with how well they played today. 2 chicken dinners for Entis today, VLG, and then K7. So no China chicken dinners today.
Oh, that's right.
So
but
now
it was an odd day, but tomorrow,
dude,
it's an even day.
That's
day
scary.
6. That's scary because Tianba, MCG, if they get like 1 chicken dinner with some kills,
yeah, then they're right there.
Yep.
And then Entis has got to be scared. Entis has to play the way they did today. Everything that they did
not
today.
game 2.
Well, not game 2. Everything but game 2.
Yes, exactly.
Take that one, scratch that out. But the rest of it was so good today. You know, just going with the confidence to do it. I think that's all you need to do.
And all the other teams, basically. This one today, I think, has been a lot of harder circles to rotate in after phase 3 at 4. So props to all the teams making those hard rotation in as we had some crazy circle ending, especially Miramar.
Yeah. And look at this again. I mean, Two Heart we're finally seeing Two Heart come through. It's been a while. We've missed you, my man. But he is back. Zenon for K7. And then somehow, some way, an Entis member finds their way on these leaderboards.
And look how much Griffin's doing better with Minsong in their roster. They have been actively challenging up to the other teams, actually pushing their line against the other team, which was not being done at all in Week 1 and Week 2. Finally with the right roster with Minsong, Asura, Two Heart, Onita, Griffin's climbing up slightly, but it's a little too late, but finally showing some sign.
Yeah, I like to see it. I like the change. I love Minsong as a player, so very excited to see what Griffin can do tomorrow. They might be one of those teams that has a big day. And there you go, your top 5 damage dealers for the day. 9, we saw him just crazy good stuff. Longsker as well. And Infantry has an okay day, but the real story here was definitely Entis.
Oh yes, MCG. Lingda surprisingly was also doing a whole lot of damage. Of course, I think a lot of those damage actually comes from just the final match of Erangel where they controlled Sky Garden just putting bullets into every single one they see on the map, so that has been pretty good. That could have been a lot better for MCG if they pulled out a 2-2 stretch because they had a lot of cover from the Sky Garden.
That's a good point. And there are your kill leaders. Genji, or excuse me, Entus, Genji, Infantry, Entus. I mean, Nine, of course, had an amazing day, but it's overshadowed by how strong Entus was today.
Yeah. Lots of pretty good circles for Entus. But again, Pochinki, it's a city right in the middle, as they're always finding these hard rotations. Even in this rotation where they could have gone towards Yasnaya a little earlier, towards the field or even towards the eastern side, which they love to. But knowing that a lot of other teams already made that stretch, they actually made the edge play. Perfect plays coming out from Entus.
All right, take it over, G-Clef. There's an interview coming.
Take it over, favorite then.
Korean teams with chickens.
3 chickens, yes. And number 1 finish. Let's talk to OG and Entus.
안녕하세요.
Hello, players.
오늘 정말 멋진 경기력이었습니다.
What a astonishing performance. Number 1.
있는데요. 오히려 PCS3
186
ASIA
points in total.
경기를 거듭할수록 엔투스의 경기력이 점점 더 단단해지고 있다. 이런 이야기들이 나오고 있습니다.
A lot of the
성장 선수 현재까지
commentators even mentioning that your
예상대로 흘러가고
play
있나요?
overall.
네,
even more bold.
실수만 줄이면은 우선 잘 먹을 수 있을 것 같다고 이제 서로 얘기를 많이 했는데.
Yeah, we talked a lot about reducing down the
많이
mistakes.
먹은 것 같아요.
And I think with less mistakes today, we were able to grab more points.
맞았던 두 번째 미라마 매치를 제외하면 거의 완벽에
Except for
가까운
the
경기를
second
좀
Miramar
보여줬다고
match
해도 과언이
match
아닐 것
today.
같은데요.
It was
언더
near
선수 오늘
perfect
경기력에
plays
대한
coming
평가,
out from you
스스로에 대한
guys.
평가 좀 어떤가요?
How would you rate your team's play overall?
다들 각자 할 거를
Under?
다 열심히 해주고 또 팀원들에 대한 케어를 좀 잘 해주다 보니까
Yeah, we actually
이렇게
cared a
잘
lot
된 것
for
같아요.
within our teammates today, and our roles fit in perfectly in terms of what we wanted to do.
굉장히 인상 깊었는데요. 이 6번째 자기장에서 멀티서클 게이밍을 밀어낸 것도 굉장히 주요했지만
Yeah, talking about first Miramar game,
템바와 VR로 기블리의 교전을 끝까지 지켜보고
pushing
진입했던
against
타이밍도
MCG
정말
was incredible.
예술이었습니다. 그 타이밍은 좀 어떻게
But also
판단하셨나요?
poking into Verlo Ghibli versus Tiemba on top.
네, 아무래도
How did you guys
이제
find that timing?
저희가 아프리카 팀 쪽의 상황을 알았고
We knew what was going on from the eastern side with Africa.
언더 선수가 이제 그쪽 상황이 이제 끝난 걸 알고 나서
And after that was
바로
done,
빠르게
Sungjang
콜을
under called for
해줘가지고
that.
저희가 빠르게 자리를 먹을 수 있었습니다.
Called
오늘 자리를
pretty early on, so we were able to
정확하게
grab a better spot
판단하고
immediately.
이동하는 오제넨투스의 모습을 지켜볼 수 있었는데 단독 1위를 유지하고 있어서 조금은 안정적으로 하지 않을까 하는 생각을 했던 오늘의 세 번째 매치
You guys could have been
공격적인
a
판단을
lot
했던 게
passive or
인상
safer
깊었습니다.
in
성장
your
선수
play,
오늘 세
keeping the
번째
first
매치
place.
14킬 치킨을 또 가져갔던 매치죠.
14 kills.
이 6번째
Check
자기장에서
it.
오히려 자기장이 굉장히 좋았는데 인디고 선수가 자기장 바깥으로 이동을 하면서 좀
Even
각을
with a
벌리는
very
판단을
favorable circle, you guys actually went
어떻게
out
이런
the
판단을 하게
circle
되셨나요?
into the field. How did you guys come up with that idea?
집에서 다 보이는 것도 있고 또 개개인의 판단하에 이제 키를 먹을 수 있는 상황은
And from the house that we had
적극적으로
control, we could see
하는
everything.
상황이라 그거는
And not just
이제
that, I think
케어가 서로 다
individually we
돼서
knew.
더 좋았던 플레이 같아요.
Yeah, we
네,
knew that it
인디고
was a
선수가
right stretch.
인펜트리를 정리하고 또
So overall, I
아프리카를
think
정리하는
having
모습을
understanding of the
지켜볼 수
teammates, it was actually a
있었습니다.
better play
인디고
instead of
선수
just keeping
현재까지
control.
본인 39킬로 킬 포인트 순위 1위를 달리고 있는데요. 혹시 알고 계시나요?
Indigo, do you know you have
몰랐어.
about
모르셨어요.
39 points,
모르니까 좀
if I'm
기분이
not
어떠세요?
mistaken? Did you know that you're in the lead with the total kills?
올해 제 경기력이 100%는 아니스러운 편인데
마이크
Your mic,
아니,
please.
말해.
올해 제 경기력이 100%는 아니지만 만족스러운 편인데
Yeah, I'm quite satisfied with my
집중해서
performance. Not 100%
좋은
still.
선수로 거듭나겠습니다. 감사합니다.
I won't lose focus on what I'm doing right now. I will still try to be the best player.
마지막까지 어떤 폭발적인 모습을 보여줄지 굉장히 기대가 되는데요. 오늘의 네 번째 매치 성장 선수가
Yeah, of course,
정말
Indigo.
이 팀의 오더로서도
Pretty good.
든든한
Real
역할을
good
해주지 않았나
performance.
하는 생각이 듭니다. 지붕 위에서 끝까지 각을 봐준 것도 굉장히 대단했는데 마지막 교전에서 정말 성장 선수의
성장.
수류탄이 없었다면 치킨을 놓칠 수도 있었던 상황이었거든요.
You were
그때
keeping
상황은
it
좀
under
어땠나요?
control on the roof, but also with your
그때
nade.
이제 그 제가 총알이 없어가지고
was a pretty good
AR을
good
M4로
help.
바꾸는 상황이라 이제 지붕에서 못 봐줬는데.
I was actually
하필
lacking in
그때 이제
bullets.
MCG가 작업을 치고 있었어가지고.
And at that
조금
moment when I lacked
불안불안했는데
bullet,
그래도 이제
MCG ran
팀원들이
into us.
시간을 잘 벌어주고 잘 기절시켜줘서.
But my
좀 더
teammates
쉬웠던 것 같아요.
bought enough times for me to actually come and help.
선수에게 한 가지 여쭤보고 싶은데요.
And that was the reason why I was able to get that nade knock
동생으로서의 모습도
against
보여주고
MCG.
있는데 사실 이제 그런 이야기도 있습니다. 홀수찬 아래는 한국 팀이 잘하고 짝수찬 아래는
And
중국 팀이 좀
there's always a
강하다.
saying,
이런
there's
이야기가
always
있을 만큼
a pattern.
약간의 흐름이 그렇게 흘러가고 있는 모습도
So far the
없지 않아
pattern has been
있거든요.
off days for
내일이
Korea,
6일차
even days for
경기인데
China.
혹시 또 좀 경계가 되는 중국 팀이 있다면 어떤 팀이 있나요, 케이 선수?
If you had to pick a Chinese team that you guys are keeping eye on,
솔직히 티안바 팀이 되긴 하는데
I think Tiamba is certainly a team
아무래도
that
티안바
we're
팀을
keeping
신경
eyes
쓰는
on.
것보다 우리 대신 좀 더 합을 맞추는 거랑
But instead of
실수하지 않는
keeping
거 그게 좀 더 중요한 것 같습니다.
focused against Tiamba, I think
현재
reducing
이
our mistake and
펜바이
focusing on
스포츠와는
our
24점
own
차이가
play
나기
is
때문에
much more
충분히
important.
좀 안심할 수도 있지만 내일 경기까지 잘한다면 안정적으로 우승을 또 차지할 수 있을 것 같은데요. 오제넨 투스 국제대회 첫 우승까지 8분 흥선을 넘었다고 해도 과언이 아닐
And
것
Ojenen
같습니다.
Tuss, I think
이제
you guys
4개의
basically
매치만을
have
남겨놓고
80%
있는데요. 언더 선수 각오한 말씀
For that
들려주시죠.
championship trophy. What do you have to say before going into stage 6?
두 번 다 진출했지만 항상 좀 중상위권에 머물러
We were
있었는데
always out in the global
이번만큼은 진짜로
among that top few.
1등을 해서 국뽕찬 하루를
I think it's about time
보내드리겠습니다.
for us to bring that Korean trophy,
완벽한
and we
하루를
will
꼭
fill you
내일
with Korean
만들어주실 수 있기를
pride
저희 역시
on the line
응원하도록
for
하겠습니다.
everyone.
오늘 경기 너무 고생 많으셨고요.
Every
인터뷰
fan rooting for
고맙습니다.
us.
감사합니다.
Thank you for the interview, Ojeanentus, and what a great
자,
translation
이렇게서
paper.
5일차 경기를 전부 2위로 마무리한 오제넨
I have to lay my hands
Wow.
down.
Yeah. I mean, just great job, man. I don't
Great job.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thanks
so
a lot.
good.
I know. I just amazed.
Your
at-
Koreans
did you
improved
see
a
how
lot.
did you see how I carried you there? I put,
I was just sitting. I was just chilling right
put
there.
you in my backpack. One thing I think is really interesting that I thought of while they were having this discussion. First of all, really interesting that Sungjong's talking about how he was running out of bullets. Makes sense. And that he also had 3
yeah.
grenades. Super interesting. But also that Tianba may reap what they sowed here with starting this fight with Gen G, because now Gen G might be like, screw you guys. We're not only gonna like pick on you because you picked on us, but we're gonna make sure you don't win this tournament.
Exactly. That might just happen, and I think Entus is the one that comes out at the end because of that fight. If that keeps on happening, I think Gen G will challenge even further into South George tomorrow. We've got still 2 more Erangel games. Certainly, very likely going to happen between those 2 teams. And at the end, Entus is the one smiling.
Yeah, and now you're in the heads of Tianba. You did something so out of the ordinary with that vehicle engine cutoff and then coming across that bridge. That is always going to be in the back of Tianba's head now. And it's going to slow. I think it's going to slow down their rotation. So now, honestly, I'm really looking to MCG to potentially be the team that steps up here and challenges Entus tomorrow. Now, Tianba, of course, can, especially because we're starting on Miramar, and Tianba's nuts on Miramar.
Yep, they're all good. We've seen what they were able to do with just 2 men left in that field, and they seem like a full squad. And even with a full squad, even stronger. I think they would have just got the chicken dinner if they had the full squad there against Entus, against a lot of other teams, budging from the sides. So still, Tianba, they are still powerful, still looking to get that first place back away from Ojeanentus. But so far, Ojeanentus seems to be the most consistent team out of all.
We'll see. The even number days are the days of China, so we'll find out if that continues tomorrow. But coming up next is actually NA. Let's go. I'm excited for this. The Sonics, they aren't running away with it. There's hope. And the gas cans, everybody, looks really good. So that is going to do it for us. Join us same time, same place tomorrow. PCS3 Asia concludes day number 6 coming at you. Have a wonderful day, guys. We'll see you then.